Thank you, Jaswinder. Good afternoon, everybody. I'd like to call the meeting to order and acknowledge that we are in Treaty 1 territory, the home and traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, Ojibwe, Innu, Cree, and Dakota peoples, and in the national homeland of the Red River Métis. Our drinking water comes from Shoal Lake 40 First Nation in Treaty 3 territory. This afternoon, my name is Robert Hutchings. I will be chairing the hearing. I'm joined on the panel by Lynn Nesbitt and Gisela Rempel. Representing the Assessment Department, City of Winnipeg, is Matthew Harling, and our administrative personnel is Jaswinder Kumar. To the participants of the hearing, please note you are placed in the waiting room until your property is called upon. When it is your turn, you will be admitted into this meeting. Kindly follow along on the City of Winnipeg's Board of Revision YouTube channel for the hearing process. Once the host admits you into the hearing, please close or mute your YouTube player. You will then be permitted to speak with respect to your property. Once your hearing has concluded, you can leave the meeting. We will be hearing applications for revision of the assessment roll in accordance with the Municipal Assessment Act. The matters for which revision is requested have been described in each application, and we will limit discussion to those matters. The statements that are made at this hearing are sworn testimony, and anyone speaking to the matters must be sworn in. Please be advised that comparisons of assessments of properties are not considered evidence of market value by the Board of Revision. The Board of Revision is appointed annually by Council and is independent of it and the City Administration. It makes its decision on the basis of the evidence provided at this hearing and issues a written order that will be mailed to all parties as soon as possible. Please note that the Board's decisions with respect to an application may be appealed to the Manitoba Municipal Board if the matter pertains to assessed value or classification, or to the Court of King's Bench if the matter pertains to the application of exemptions from taxation. Should you wish to appeal, information on how to do so will be included with this Board's order. With respect to the hearing process, I will confirm the points of appeal with your property to be abreast with each applicant following their swearing in. We will then have the assessor's testimony, followed by questions that the applicant may have, and then the applicant's testimony, followed by questioning. Each side will have an opportunity to summarize if they wish. Once all of the evidence of an application has been brought forward, the applicant may leave. The process will repeat for each item on the docket today. The session will close after all the applications have been heard, and the Board will deliberate in private and make its decisions. You will receive the Board's decision by registered mail as soon as possible. As information, all public hearings are live streamed, recorded, and will be part of the public record. Today, we will be hearing items number 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, 9, and 10 on our docket today. Mr. Kumar, can you please affirm the assessor and the applicant's testimony?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Thank you. Mr. Assessor, please state your full name.
Matthew Harling.
Thank you. Do you affirm that the evidence you are about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you. Mr. Applicant, please stand up. State your full name.
Shorik Islam, on behalf of SAS Builders, I'm here.
Okay, thanks. Do you affirm that the evidence you are about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. Can please sit.
Thank you, Mr. Kumar. First item on the docket today is item number 2, file number 22-1203. It is 595 Jackson Avenue, and we're dealing with a 2023 realty assessment. Mr. Harling, bear with us a second while we get your brief up, please. And when you are ready, please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The file number is 22-1203. The roll number is 120-125-65000. The address is 595 Jackson Avenue, and the owner is SAS Buildings Incorporated. 2023 assessed value based on a reference date of April 1st, 2021 is $433,000. Some information about the property. The property description. The property is an industrial warehouse. It is a one-story building. The effective year built is 1955. The wall heights are 12 feet. The land area is 7,512 square feet with a leasable area of 4,828 square feet. and a land to plant area of 1.30. Page 2 of my brief, you'll just see the request for income information has been received. There are no recent sales. Last sale was back in 2013 for $400,000, and there are no subject property leases in place. If we go to page 3 of my brief, you'll see my rent comparables. My comparables range the lease start dates from 2016 to 2020. The lease terms range from 2 to 6 years. The leaseable areas range from 1,675 square feet to 4,500 square feet. The wall heights range from 12 feet to 17 feet. The effective years built range from 1925 to 1973. And the overall net rents range from $6.75 a square foot to $8.53 a square foot. If you go to page 4 of my brief, you'll see the income valuation workup. We classify this property as a flex warehouse. There are multiple premises on the property, so you see the breakdown of each premise and the total leasable area at 4,820 square feet. And we are applying an overall model rent of $7.09. We're allowing 6% for vacancy loss, 3% for non-recoverable expenses, $3.85 a square foot for shortfall, which gives us an overall net operating income of $29,847. And we're applying a model cap rate of 6.90%, which gives us the estimated market value of $433,000. Continue page 5 of my brief. This is just another income value summary. If we go to page 6 of my brief, just see some cap rate information. The 6.9% cap we have applied falls within the range of what we're seeing in the market for other partners such as Colliers, CRB, Cushman, and Wakefield. So the 6.9% cap rate, I believe, is supported by the market. If we continue page 7 of my brief, just see some municipal assessment and observed information. If we go to page 8, you'll just see a photo of the subject property, where it's located on Jackson Avenue and where it's located just close to Pembina Highway there. Page 9 of my brief, you'll see some photos of the subject property. So if you look at the very top photo, the little red dot, that would be that's the building we're dealing with, where it says 595 through 599, so that's the subject property. Obviously, you can see it further down below on page 9, you'll see a better view of the subject property. If you go to page 10, it's just some more photos of the subject, just from different angles, just to show the front and the rear of the property. And if we go to page 11, you'll just see the parcel boundary and the current assessed value. Page 11 through 13 of my brief is just the income expense matter, which has been sent by the property owner. And pages 14 through 16 are just some outside source information just to support our cap rate evidence and such. That is my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Harling. Does the applicant have any questions of the assessor's brief, the information he's presented so far? You will have an opportunity to present your case in a couple of minutes, but do you have any questions of the brief presented by the assessor?
Yes, good afternoon, everyone, and Honorable Mr. Chair and all the members of the board. So good afternoon. And also, Mr. Matthew, very good to see you.
Yes, you do.
I just had a question on the page number 4 of your report. Page number 4, where you mentioned income stream subject property.
Correct, yeah.
And here you mentioned the rent per square feet, $7.26, 7.18, 6.97.
Correct.
I don't know how you found this, or what is the basis of this amount that you calculated? Is there any from the record, or?
Yeah, these again, each of these areas would be based on the total area of the building. So we've broken it down because there's multiple premises in the building. So these rents would be considered model generated rents. So we get to derive our assessments, we get market information, and we find similar properties, sizes, locations, age, and then we apply a rent based on those. So that's where those rents are applied, and then we use a blended rent because they're for the total area at $7.09 would be the total rent for the whole building in total. So
$7.09 per month, per year?
Yeah, that would be for like the entire, $7.09 would be for like the overall assessed value. So I guess you could say, for the For example, this is 2023 assessments. Yeah, but that would be for the whole year. Yeah, correct. So
per year?
yeah.
Okay. And one thing that I have a big problem is there are three premises on Honorable Chair. I request your attention. This is a three premises in this building. First premise 15137, second premise 15144, and the third premise 291905. And tenant classes in all three premises has been mentioned as a C2 standard finish, which is an incorrect information for the third premise, which is basically more than 50% of the area is basically not standard finish. It's a basically industrial warehouse and more than 50%.
Sir, you will have the opportunity to present your evidence. Would you mind keeping your questions to what the assessor has presented? And again, you have your opportunity to present your evidence, okay?
Thank you very much.
Yeah, do you have any questions of the assessor's evidence presented so far?
Okay, I have more questions, honestly speaking. Yeah.
Okay.
So, Mr. Harling, so the third premise, the C2 standard finish, and this is basically work wood shop and not correct information given in this report. I think we can verify or check it out later, but as for your information.
Okay.
But my question to you is the vacancy loss 6.5%, shortfall of 3.85 per square feet, and 3% expenses. Those items are standard market rate, or how do you assume? Or
yeah, the vacancy would be like a market vacancy, so it would be applied to similar type of industrial properties. And yeah, the shortfall would be the same thing applied to so they would be considered market, but they would be applied to typical industrial properties. So yeah, they would vary, but yeah, typically we apply these to most industrial properties. Yes, so.
And 3.85 shortfall at the rate of $3.85 per square feet. And how did it come at $1,208? I really didn't get this.
Well, so you would take the, just let me get the calculation out here for you. You would take the $3.85 and you would multiply that by the
Per square feet.
Yes, that is correct. Yes.
The total square feet is 4828 square.
40. That's not correct. Yeah, I apologize. Yeah,
the amount doesn't match.
Yeah, that does not add up there. So I believe it's time. Give me 1 second here. I apologize. So just let me just have to check the math here. So 32.15 minus 60 times. Look at the vacancy here. I think I'm missing some vacancy here, so I apologize. Sorry, 29. If you give me a minute, I think I'm missing some information.
Sure, let us proceed. Maybe we can try the numbers later. We can check.
Yeah, so I apologize. Yeah, I just have to calculate this. I don't want to, hold up anything. So just
Okay. So Matthew, would you mind recalculating the error you discovered and noting your adjusted numbers so that the panel can have them for adjusting your workup and the impact it's going to have on the final estimated value?
Yes, I can. I believe the shortfall is correct. I'm just trying to figure out why there's just, I just have to, let me just play around with the number here.
Of course, yeah, take your time. Yeah, no problem.
I have one question, Matthew. We can figure out.
Let Mr. Applicant, can we please allow the assessor to do his calculations, and then we'll clear this portion up that you pointed out, and then we'll proceed, okay, if you don't mind.
Sure, thank you.
Thank you.
Six. Okay, hold on. 2, 2, 2, 6. Why isn't it working? 34. No, would it be possible I could just have a minute? I need to grab something from my desk. I apologize. It'll take me a second yet. So
No problem, Matthew.
thank you.
We'll get to the bottom of this.
Okay. Back. Apologize for that.
No problem.
Okay, so yeah, so I was we are actually correct. So basically how we get that 1208 is you take the vacancy, which is 6.5%, and you multiply that by the leasable area at 4,828. Then you times that by the $3.85 square foot for shortfall. That gives you the 1208.
Okay. Okay. Does that answer the applicant's question?
Yes, thank you very much for explaining. I wanted to know about easier.
Yeah. No, I apologize for, I should have had that set up sooner. I apologize. So
No problem.
So
Okay.
I really didn't know how the shortfall come to this equation, but thank you very much for explaining it.
you're welcome. No problem.
I have one more question. In the capitalization rate, page number 6, in the report, you use 6.9%,
Correct.
and which is basically suburban B office standard.
Well, no, we'll be looking under industrial.
No, but you use 6.9 capitalization rate.
Yes, I use 6.9, but I'm just saying like the cap rates I'm basing it on is looking at, if you look at under industrial A and B, that's where I'm comparing the cap rates to, because that's where those are industrial cap rates. So.
But if you look at the industrial A and B and 80 percentile, which becomes 7.45, I don't see 6.9.
Oh, okay. Well, sorry. Yeah, that's the city of Winnipeg. That basically what that means is we're saying 20 to 80% of the cap rates fall within 5.5% to 7.545%. So it's a range. It's not always. So it's just saying our cap rates fall. If our cap rates fall within that range, that's what we're seeing typically for industrial properties. It can vary by property, but so yeah, that's where our cap rates they will fall within. So the other partner published rates such as in Collier, CRB, Cushman Wakefield, those are market cap rates. So we're comparing our cap rate to those market cap rates. So that's what I was how I was explaining it. So.
Okay, thank you very much, Matthew and Honorable Chair. I don't have any further questions.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Lynn, any questions of the assessor's evidence presented?
Yes, I do have some questions. Mr. Harling, your rent comparables on page 3, are they all similar types of properties, kind of similar to the subject property?
They would be, for example, like 245 McPhillips and 1207 Richard and 1201 Richard. They would be similar types because they're flex warehouse type properties.
Okay, so the Richard ones and the McPhillips
correct,
ones.
yeah.
Okay.
The one in Sanford and Gwendale, those are actually would be more of like a single tenant building. So there wouldn't be, they would be a single tenant opposed to multi-tenant like the subject. Again, I was just using these comparables just to show comparables in terms of age and size. So, but yes, the ones on Richard and McPhillips would be more comparable in the sense of the type of building. So.
Okay, so you indicated just now that the subject property is a multi-tenanted building?
That's correct. Yes, it would be like considered a flex warehouse. Yeah.
Okay, can you tell me what the different premises are?
Like the tenants in the premises?
Yeah, you have 3 different premises in your model.
Yep. Well, there's I mean, just going by the mailer, like the that we have in there. If you look at page 12, so those would be.
Let me just get there.
I apologize.
No, that's quite all right. I'm just going to write down the square foot that you have in the model so I can kind of compare to the premises on page 12. Let me just get there.
No problem.
Okay, now I got to expand that. Okay, go ahead.
So yeah, so I mean, if you actually go into if you add up the entire leasable areas on page 12 of the income expense mailer, they have a slightly higher leasable area at 5545. We're at 4828. So there's obviously a little bit of discrepancy in terms of the leasable area. So it's a lot of times what we may consider leasable, others may not. So unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to inspect this property, so I can't. But on file, based on the information we have, the most up-to-date information we have, that's why we're showing the 4828. So there is a discrepancy, but yeah, so.
Okay, so can you tell me what these different premises are then?
I mean, based on we have the 2 businesses here, the Garnet Construction, Hercules Heaters, and then Cosmopolitan International.
Okay.
Those are just based on the 2020 mailer. So some of these leases looks like they ended in 2020. So I'm not sure if they're still there currently at this time, but this is based on the 2020 mailer. So
I see, like in terms of square footage. Okay, you said okay. So we have four premises listed here, but only 3 in your model.
Yes, yeah. For example, if you can see, there's the one at the bottom there, 800 square feet. It's a bit smaller. So I mean, how we, a lot of times with property owners, how they'll have their mailer set up and how we have ours, there might be some variations. So it's kind of common to see a little bit of discrepancy sometimes. So
Okay, and the rents that are in here, are they gross? Are they net? Like what are they?
These would be gross rents because they have they're paying for the if you look at in the side there under the you'll see the check marks.
I can barely
I apologize.
see
It's hard to see it. I couldn't.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tried to get it bigger, but the problem is when it looked really blurry, so I couldn't really get it perfectly. But these would be considered gross rents, though. Yeah. So.
Okay. And you said that you did not inspect, correct?
No, I did not. I've driven by the property in the past, but I have not physically been in the building now. So.
Okay, and do you know when it was last inspected?
Let me. You know what? I might be able to.
Okay.
Figure that out for you.
Sure.
I can, because usually anytime we inspect the property, we'll make notes in our system, so I can just quickly check.
Yeah.
Just to verify, because I know if I know we do like a lot of permits and we take out and we'll inspect the property. So just bear with me here a second. If I can find Jackson. Okay, up here, almost there. Okay. Let's see here. Okay, last time spoke to. It's been a few years. It's been at least probably somewhere around 2018, 2019 in that range from what I can tell, because there was some anytime there's like a new tenant in the building, our field assistants will go out and talk to the property owners to update tenancy and such. So, but yeah, last time I could check here was in 19 is the last time I could see it. So.
Okay. And one last question, and this is just going back to your rent comps. I think you indicated that the Richard Avenue ones and the McPhillips ones were multi-tenanted, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Are there any properties here that are close in proximity to the subject property, or does that matter? Like,
well, I mean,
I'm sorry, I don't know where Richard Avenue is.
Yeah, no, I apologize. It's like a lot. I won't. There's not. I'll be honest. There's not a lot of tenanted flex warehouse I could find really close to Pembina. So yeah, these would be closer more to Logan Avenue and kind of more in the central part of the city, I guess. So I wouldn't say exactly the same location, and the location can have some variation on the overall rent, obviously. So like a property that's, let's say, on a really busy street that has a lot of exposure might have a higher rent than one that's like tucked in a corner, for example. So, yeah, so there are some variations. So.
And what would you say about this property on Jackson? Would it have good exposure on a busy street?
Yeah, like I said, it's off of Pembina, but obviously at the same time too, you look at it and you're right, it's not like exactly extremely visible. You'd have to go down the street, and it's obviously like a one-way kind of street. So yeah, so I won't dispute that. Yeah, it would have a little bit less visibility than other properties. Yes. So.
Okay. Would that affect the cap rate?
Yes, yeah. Overall cap rate, location, size, wall height, land to building ratio, all those features would affect the cap rate. Yeah. So.
Okay. Thank you. That's all my questions.
Thank you, Lynn. Gisela, any questions of the assessor?
No, my questions have been asked and answered. Thank you.
Thank you. Matthew, my first question is, did you have an opportunity to review the income and expense statement for the subject property?
I did look at it. As I said though before, it's a gross rent, and obviously we're using net, so it's kind of hard. Sometimes it can be very difficult to go into a net. So I mean, typically we'll if it's not a really true net rent, we really wouldn't put a lot of weight on as much. But yeah, so okay,
and just to understand, we've got 3 separate addresses under this one roll number. But the under appeal is all 3 addresses together. Is that correct?
Yeah. Sorry. Each of those addresses would be technically considered like a unit since it's got 3 addresses. So that's just the address of each individual unit. So yeah, 595, 592, and such.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
And The discrepancy in the size, maybe the applicant can clarify that, but did you say you're assessing at about 4,800 square feet and the declared leasable area on the income or the tenant roll is about 5,400, is that right?
Well, yeah, and also if you look at page 1 of my brief, you'll see the gross floor area is 5,800 square feet again, but we're only saying 4,800 of it is leasable. Yeah, so we have because the gross area obviously there's a certain space that can't be leasable.
Okay, yeah, that explains it. Okay, yeah, and the blended rate was $7.09.
That is right.
Okay. I believe that is all my questions. Thank you, Mr. Harling. Can the applicant bear with us 1 second? We're going to pull up your brief, and once we let you know we're ready, we will proceed. Does everybody have it?
Yes.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
I just want to mention to the board that the brief for the applicant was received a little late.
So we've got an updated submission, is that right?
Yeah, the applicant submitted the brief little late. Yeah, we have that in the folder.
Oh, okay, so what I'm seeing here is roof assessment.
Yeah, that's the only stuff that he sent.
That is the brief?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's nothing else for us to find here. Okay.
Mr. Harling, did I send you the brief?
I don't believe I do have it. No. So
Okay. I'll send it to you right away.
Okay.
That's the rebuttal. Yeah, that will come after.
Let us know when you've got it, Matthew.
all right, thank you. Got my email ready to go.
Did you receive it, Matthew?
I'm just going to refresh my email right now.
Okay.
Let's see next. I mean, if you want to begin with me, it's okay. I can just wait till it comes in. I don't want to slow anything down.
Okay. Can the applicant proceed now? I think we've all got your brief.
Thank you very much, Honorable Mr. Chair and honorable members, and for giving me the opportunity to speak my case. Thank you. And with due respect to the work Mr. Matthew do, I would like to request your revisit or re-inspection, or particularly in a case that more than 50% of this premise is unfinished floor, unfinished wall, unfinished ceiling, is used as a wood workshop. My tenant is making some kitchen cabinets. They're just using wood stove shop and also storing their items. So the third premise, which is 23 square feet, 2,423 square feet, which is more than 50% area, is basically not standard finish. So that will change the case if I request City of Winnipeg can update the record, or somebody can go and inspect and check it out, please. And that will change the overall calculations. And I also would like to mention that, yeah, vacancy 6.5%, shortfall, expenses 3%, shortfall at 3.85% per square feet. These rates, I'm not sure whether there is a market standard rate or there is any mathematics, or what is the basis of considering these rates. I would like to request to revisit these rates, because I'm not sure why it is 6.5%, because last year, the 2021, you see the page number 12 of his report, there are 4 tenants listed. Basically, 2 of them left in the middle of they broke the lease and they left because of the COVID situation. And as a landlord, I couldn't do anything. So they surrendered, they left my premise, didn't pay the rent. So a good portion of 2021 was vacant. But luckily, I got another tenant, and right now it's a 2-tenant building right now. And I got it occupied at some point. So Garnet Construction is still there, and Hercules left, and Cosmopolitan left, and new tenant I got is Best Dental Lab, their laboratory. So this report is 2021. And I'd like to also let the chair and the board know that it's a gross lease, and the property tax and water bills are paid by the landlord. So this is not recovered from the tenants. My another point is this is classified as industrial warehouse. And yeah, it has some office space at the front side of the building, but more than 50% is industrial warehouse. So I'd like to request to apply the appropriate rates of the rental rate and also the capitalization rates, which are not appropriately applied in my opinion, particularly when I see page number 6, the capitalization rate. I can see industrial A and B and City of Winnipeg, 80 percentile is 7.45. And we can apply 7.45 instead of 6.9, which has been applied by Matthew's report. Then the assessment value changes. However, I submitted this report a little bit late, honestly speaking, and I'm sorry, and I didn't work on it. Can I submit it, or can I? How can I?
These documents, Mr. Chair, were submitted after the exchange of the documents. I take it as a rebuttal.
Could I, Jaswinder, would you mind, is it a workup for explaining why the assessment should be reduced, or is it sales, or is it rent lease evidence, or what is it exactly, sir?
Mr. Chair, I basically wanted to show you the calculation Mr. Matthew did, and also if I consider industrial warehouse capitalization rate, then what the number changes.
Okay, if I understand correctly, you're presenting a revised workup based on Mr. Harling's methodology for coming up to the assessed value. Is that right?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Mr. Harling, do you have any objection to him presenting this?
No, that's fine. I'll have no objection.
Okay. I agree, but what we would need to do is get a copy of that, Jaswinder, and share it with the panel members and the assessor. Then we can go along as you present your evidence, sir, and then we can use it. Then we'll consider the evidence presented. Okay, but we're going to have to get a copy to be shared by with the panel.
Yeah, I just shared it with the panel.
Okay, so bear with us while we all refresh and get this in front of us.
Go ahead. This must be number one.
Okay, the first one.
Yeah. Is it there, Mr. Chair?
I'm still looking here. A minute ago, I believe so. Bear with me while I open it. Okay, perfect. Okay. Okay. Just a comment for the applicant. It would be appreciated by all parties, including the assessor, if he could review this before the hearing. So maybe in the future, if you wouldn't mind preparing this and providing it ahead of time than rather at the hearing. That's my only comment. But we will accept that the assessor has no problem with dealing with it. So If you could proceed, please, sir.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Absolutely, it should be done a lot earlier. Honestly speaking, my hours are not paid on. I have a job. I have many things to do.
Okay.
I came to this late, but anyway. So, and thanks very much for allowing me to present it. And thank you, Mr. Matthew, who accepted.
No problem.
So basically, the method one, exactly the same number that you came up with. I just made it in Excel table. Is exactly the same number, same percentage, and everything. In method two, method two is basically if I consider the actual definition of the third premise instead of standard finish. If I consider standard warehouse, and I don't know, you mentioned the rent per square feet 7.26, 7.18. I used $5. I don't know why I used $5. I don't have any mathematics. It's guessing. We are guessing many ways. So I just guessed it. Yeah, $5 per square feet in this unfinished floor, unfinished area, which is warehouse. And then the numbers changes, and I consider same 6.5% vacancy, same 3% of expenses, and 3.85 per square feet, something shortfall. Then the number came down to 369 assessed value. So only thing is I changed from the standard finish to standard warehouse and guess an estimated rate from $7 to $5. I'm honest with you, and I don't have a basis what I'm guessing on, but I just guess. So, and this area is large, more than 50% area of the total premise is unfinished warehouse storage space used as a wood workshop. So then assessed value will come to $369,833, following the exact same all other parameters. Now, this amount is less than the assessed value in the previously, like 2021, 2020. And I understand that 2021 the assessed value was 373,000. And I'm very honest with you, with the board, that we didn't look into this, and I just got a paper on the mail, and we've been paying tax, and nobody paid attention to this. Why it was assessed 373,000 back in 2020 and 2021. We never paid attention. But this time we looked into the numbers, and seems that number comes down less than what was assessed before. Okay. Now, the third method that I mentioned, here I considered, okay, standard finish, same rate, exactly the same as method one, but capitalization rate changed to 7.45 instead of 6.9. And why I'm taking 7.45? Because on the page number 6 of Matthew's report, it says industrial B, and City of Winnipeg, 80th percentile, 7.45. So I just use this number. I don't know how accurate it is, but if it is 7.45, then estimated value can be $400,000, 639. So it ranges, it varies from 369 to 400 based on these two methods of calculations. However, I would like to request attention of the board members that in the Matthew's report, the comparables are not in the same area, which honorable member of the board already mentioned it, that this subject property being compared with another property in McPhilly, which is quite far within the city, and rental rate, dynamics, economics, and the businesses are quite different here and there. So I have a big question whether the subject properties are properly chosen. The second thing is the street exposure. This subject property is behind 710 Pembina Highway, and beside the rail line, and it doesn't have any main street exposure, and just beside the rail line. And I had difficulties to find tenants because of the rail line. Some homeless people live there, and this is a true story. And last year we found that homeless people was living on the roof because just beside the rail line, and nobody was looking at it. And ultimately we found some mattress and some living items, and then we found out ultimately discovered somebody is living on the roof, and we made him out. So anyway, I'm just telling you some practical stories that the location wise, it doesn't have a street exposure, just beside the rail line and behind another big building, which is a doctor's medical office, and it's quite just behind this building, and it doesn't have any street exposure. My other observation in this assessment is currently tax is assessed based on 373,000 roughly, and The new Matthews report says 433,000, which is basically a $60,000 roughly raise, basically 16% raise. The 16% increase in the property assessment value in 1 year, 2 year, Honorable Chair, I don't think it is right. The 16% raise in assessed value in 1 year. And more than 50% leasable area is unfinished, I already mentioned to you. And also for your information, landlord pays all the tax, all property tax and water bill, and it's not collected from the tenant. And another important history, the last spring, there was a huge water damage to this building. And that's why we collected professional roof assessor, and we have to fix it. I don't have money at this time, I couldn't fix it, obviously. And roof assessment came like $33,000, which is given to you, shared with you. $33,000 repair is needed for the roof. And there's a water damage in the foundation as well. The side stucco was broken and the water was coming from the side. So what I'm trying to say, 1955 building, it has a lot of issues, particularly last winter, it was a severe cold weather and winter, and it caused a huge damage, and ultimately it's a big expense is on the way. I don't have money at this time when summer has gone and I couldn't fix it. I am finding someone to patch temporarily, but it should be also considered as a condition of the building, whether it can be compared with the comparables with the situation. Roof replacement, if I need to replace at some point, it's more than $80,000 or $70,000 would be expense. That is also consideration of our financials. And stucco repair was done around $6,000. So considering all these aspects, and I'd like to request this board and also my colleague, Assessor Matthew, to consider these points. And I'd like to request the reassessment. In my opinion, or my recommendation, I would like to go with the actual situation of this building. Actual situation is, yes, more than 50% is unfinished. And considering this, I assume $5 rent square feet, then the assessment value will become lower than what is I've been paying last year, which is $369,833. So this is my presentation and my recommendation to go with $369,000.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Matthew, any questions of the applicant?
No, I think it's pretty self. I saw everything. That's good. No, I think I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Gisela, any questions of the applicant?
I noticed in your roof repair estimate that you had received that it would be about $33,000 to repair the roof.
Yeah.
You say to replace the roof, it would be $70,000 to $80,000.
Yes.
Is there something I missed in the report which indicates you should repair it or you should replace it? Maybe I missed that.
This report doesn't say replacement.
Yeah.
But I had a conversation with the same advanced level roofing company. They said more than $70,000 roof replacement.
Okay.
Because it's a three unit 595, 597, and 599. And these 3 units have been developed in 3 different times. So a portion of the roof is flat, a portion of the roof is slanted.
Okay.
So it's not one roof, it's a 3 roofs basically. So, and they are causing a lot of problem in the junction of these 3 units. And now it is time to, at least a big repair is on the way. And I'm just trying to estimate whether repair of 33,000 is a big money, whether I should repair and 5 years again repair comes, whether I should go this route or we should spend probably replace $80,000 one time, maybe 20 years save. So this is where we are currently at now. But there was a big water damage last spring.
Yes, a lot of people suffered water damage in the spring. Yeah. And you had to have some work done on the foundation as well. You said about $6,000.
Yes, for the stucco. The side stucco was broken. So water was, there is no basement in this building.
Okay.
So water was coming from outside and getting into the floor.
Okay.
Because of the stucco was broken and it has been replaced recently. So not replaced, repaired. Work was done.
And you indicated also that the third space, I guess it is not finished in any way, and that people are building cabinets in there. And that's about 5,400. Oh no, pardon me. How many square feet would that be?
It's This is about 28 square feet, 2,400 square feet based on the next year's before.
Okay, that's all my questions.
And that is more than 50%.
Right.
Thank you, Lisa. Lynn, any questions of the appellant?
No, I have no questions. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. My question to the appellant is, I'm looking at your three, I'll call them workups, okay? And I'm looking at, are you relying on method 2 with that reduction for that cabinet workshop to come up with your requested value of, and I think the workup is 370,000, but your final request is for 373,000. Do I have that right?
I think this is a typo from Excel, I think.
Okay.
373 is the current assessed value, last year's assessed value, 373.
369.8 is your.
So 369.8 is my recommended method 2, recommended 1, which is the actual situation of the building. So I think it's a typo, Honorable Chair. I'm sorry. I think Excel made it, which is the current 373 is the last year's assessment.
So you're asking for 370,000. Would that be correct?
That will be correct.
Okay. Thank you. And that's based on reducing that I'll call it a cabinet workshop and a cap rate of, I'm sorry, what cap rate are you using there?
The rents per square feet I use is $5 instead of $7.
But then you proceed to accept, so you've got a revised net income of 25,518. And then but you are using the assessor's capitalization rate at 6.9%.
Exactly. You're true.
Okay. All right. And my last question is, I think Gisela asked it, but just to confirm, the roof repairs have not been done yet. Is that correct?
Not done yet.
Not yet. Okay. All right. Okay. And I have one question for the assessor, just out of curiosity here. If that portion, that 2,400 square feet approximately was used as a cabinet workshop, would that alter your methodology at all?
I mean, we would look at it, as I said, I apologize, I haven't inspected the property in a while, but if we could look at it and we may adjust like the overall, the way we're, how we assess the rent or what the classification is, which could, in turn, adjust the rent. Yeah. So.
Yeah, but without the inspection, yeah. Okay, fair enough. Okay, thank you. That's my only question. Does either party require a summary?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Okay. And Matthew, you're okay, and the appellant is okay? Okay, sir, thank you for appearing.
Thank you.
And you'll get our decision as soon as possible, okay?
Thank you very much. Thanks everyone for this opportunity.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And that concludes 595 Jackson Avenue. Yes.
May I have a 5-minute recess, please?
Of course. We will recess for 5 minutes.
Thank you.
As winner. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you, Mr. Kumar. Next property on the docket is item number 3, file number 221223. Address is 803 Erin Street, and we're dealing with a 2023 assessment appeal. And Mr. Kumar, could you swear in the appellant, please?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Mr. Applicant, please state your full name.
Yeah, Paul Rehal.
Thank you. Do you affirm that the evidence you are about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Next property on the docket is item number 3, file number 221223. Address is 803 Erin Street, and we're dealing with a 2023 assessment appeal. And Mr. Kumar, could you swear in the appellant, please?
Yes, Mr. Chair, can you turn off your YouTube, please? Your full name.
Yeah, Paul Rehal.
Thank you. Do you affirm that the evidence you are about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Our next property on the docket is item number 3, file number 221223.
Mr. Rehal, can you turn off your YouTube?
Now he's on mute.
Yeah, I just turned him on mute.
Hi there.
There.
Sorry about that.
No problem. Okay, I'm gonna start again. Please state your full name.
Yeah, Paul Rehal.
Thank you. Do you affirm that the evidence you're about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
That is correct.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kumar. Good afternoon, Mr. Rehal. We're going to be dealing with 803 Aaron Street. Mr. Harling, when you are ready, please.
Anymore. Apologize, I'm having issues with audio.
We can hear you. You can't hear us?
Can't hear anything.
That's because we're not saying anything.
Hello.
Matthew, can you hear us?
Can't hear anybody.
Well,
Can anyone hear me or?
Yeah,
We can hear you.
we can hear you, but I think we understand that you're not hearing anybody else on the panel or the appellant.
Can't hear anybody. Can anyone hear me?
Yes.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, I guess we're going to have to recess for a
yes,
technical issue here, Mr. Kumar.
sure.
I've lost audio.
Your line, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Mr. Kumar. I'll now call the hearing back to order. I think we've got that technical issue corrected. And Mr. Harling, when you are ready, please, 803 Aaron Street.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The file number is 22-1223. Roll number is 13011252500. The address is 803 Aaron Street, and the owner is Winnipeg Plastics and Tools Limited. 2023 assessed value based on a reference date of April 1st, 2021 is $1,396,000. Some information about the property. It is an industrial warehouse property. It is 1 to 2 stories. The actual years built are 1912 to 1995, with an effective year overall built of 1954. The wall heights range in a size of 12 to 20 feet. The land area is 30,164 square feet, with a leasable area of 22,490 square feet and a land to plant area of 1.6. If we go to page 2 of my brief, you'll just see the request for information has been received. There are no recent sales and there are no subject property leases in place. If we go to page 3 of my brief, you'll just see my rent comparables. They range in lease start dates of 2018 to 2020. Lease terms range from 2 to 5 years. The leasable areas range from 1,875 square feet to 22,758 square feet. The wall heights range from 14 to 18 feet. The effective year of builds range from 1952 to 1973. And the overall net rents range from $6.50 square foot to $8. We go to page 4 of my brief, you'll just see the income workup. This is considered classified as a storage warehouse. You'll see we have 3 premises for a total leasable area of 22,490. We are using a model overall rent of $6.19 a square foot. We're applying 6% for vacancy loss, as well as 3% for non-recoverable expenses and $3.85 a square foot cost to cover shortfall, or cost to cover vacancy, I apologize. This gives us a net operating income of $120,714, and we're applying a model cap rate of 8.65% to give us the estimated market value of $1,369,000. If we go to page 5 of my brief, you'll just see some income value summary. Further, if we turn to page 6 of my brief, just see some capitalization rate evidence information. The cap rate we're applying is higher than the typical cap rate you'll see, so it's kind of based on the property's age, size, and location. We're applying a higher cap rate, so I believe the cap rate's fair to the property. If we go to page 7 of our brief, you'll just see some municipal assessment excerpt information. Page 8 of my brief is just some photos of the subject property. So on page 8, you'll just see the Google map photo of where the property is located on Aaron Street and an outline of the building. Page 9 of my brief, you'll see some photos of the subject property. So page 9 at the top, it's one front photo as well, or front view of the property, and further down, you'll just see more of the subject property. If we go to page 10 of my brief, you'll just see another photo of the subject. And then page 10 at the bottom, you'll see an overhead view of the overall property. This continues on page 11. You'll just see another overhead photo of the property from different angles, as well as at the bottom of page 11. Page 12 of my brief, you'll just see the overall parcel view and the current assessed value. And at the bottom of page 12, you'll just see the income and expense mailer. It is partially owner occupied. This continues on page 14 and 15, and then on page 16, 17, and 18 are just some outside source information for the cap rate evidence. That is my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Harling. Good afternoon, Mr. Rahal. Do you have any questions of the assessor's evidence presented so far?
Well, I don't have a copy of the brief in front of me.
Oh.
Yeah, but yeah. But I did notice the value of the leasable area was, sorry, not the value, but the leasable area was, I think it was on, what was it, 22,000?
22,490.
20,490, yeah. So the whole property consists of like 3 occupants. So we're we're under shared occupancy.
Okay.
And so one is our we own the whole building, so we have 2 tenants, and there's 3 of us sharing the area. So and so in terms of leasable area, I think it'd be quite a bit less if if we just take into account the two companies that are renting.
Oh, okay, because yeah, I noticed on the mailer you had submitted, you have the 2 tenants, and one of them's using 5,000 square feet, and the other's using 25,000 or 5,000 and 2,500. Does that sound about right? Or?
That's correct. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Mr. Rahal, do you have access to the assessor's brief within your office there?
I just have my computer in front of me.
But you don't have access to the assessor's brief that we're referring to?
No, no.
Mr. Kumar, would it be possible to email the applicant the brief?
Yes, Mr. Chair, I can send it right away.
Okay, so I'll wait for you to receive that. Maybe that'd
Sure.
be easier for you to ask questions.
For sure.
Thank you. Please let us know when you've received it.
Yep.
Okay, I just sent it to you, Mr. Real.
Okay.
Mr. Kumar, I think we've lost the assessor's feed.
Challenge.
He will
I
come.
have-
Okay, so Mr. Rehal, you've got that, but we've lost the assessor. If you don't mind waiting a minute.
Sure.
Okay, he's here. I think we can't see him.
Can't see Matthew.
No, not yet. I think he's there somewhere, but his name is there, but
Yeah.
Matthew, are you there?
I think something's up. Okay.
There he is.
There he is.
Can you hear us, Matthew?
Yep. Did I?
Okay, we're all good. Okay. Okay, Mr. Rehal, if you want to take a minute to review the assessor's brief and then any questions, I think you were speaking or questioning the square footage of the leasable area, but take a minute to look at his work up on page probably 4 would be the most relevant for you.
Okay. Tenant class, okay. So this information was gathered, Mr. Assessor Matthew.
Yeah.
Are we allowed to use first names?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's yeah.
Sure.
Okay. Okay, yeah, so this information is based on just what was on file, is that correct? Or?
Yeah, like I said, yeah, like this building obviously we've had on our assessment roll for a number of years. So yeah, this is the most recent information, the most up-to-date information we have on the property, correct?
Right, okay. Yeah, just 1 second.
Sure, take your time.
Potential. Yeah, so the leasable area, that would need to be updated to consider just the 2 areas that are under lease right now. I'm not sure. Leasable area, does that include us?
Well, yeah, technically how we like the leasable area is what we include the entire space. So if there's an even owner, if it's owner occupied, we're still including the space overall. So we're
Oh, okay.
yeah, so yeah, we would include the overall regardless if it's like if it's we're not including like gross floor area because there might be certain spaces you can't use, but yeah, leasable area encompass the physical leasable area. So I understand that you're using that space, but it could and hence be leasable area. That's why we include it overall in the space. So
Okay. Yeah, so I failed to kind of to understand our involvement in the leasable area. I know you're including it, and I'm not sure if that's a part of the legal process coming up with the leasable area or not. But to me, that doesn't, including our space doesn't make sense, especially when.
Matthew, can you explain how the Assessment Act requires you to include all leasable area?
yeah. Any leasable area under the Manitoba Municipal Assessment Act, any area, regardless, as I said, if it's owner occupied or if it's tenanted out, we would still include it in the overall area of the building. So,
Okay.
yeah.
All right, and these square foot rates are all sort of current.
Like on which page? Sorry, page 4.
Yeah, I'm looking at page 4. Yeah.
Yeah, these the areas and the rents we're applying, those would be considered model rents that we're basing on market rents. So
Market rate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anything else, Mr. Rahal?
Yeah, so I mean, looking at the overall value at 1.3 is still very high considering, I'm not sure if you looked at our package that we sent.
Okay, Mr. Rahal, you have your opportunity to present your evidence.
Okay.
Okay, so any other questions on the assessor's presentation?
No, that's fine. I'm
Okay.
good there. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Lynn, any questions of the assessor?
Yes, I do have some questions.
Sure.
So I'm looking at the 3 premise sizes, 15,000 roughly, 5,000 roughly, 1.5 thousand roughly. And I'm comparing that to your rent comparables. And particularly in that $5,000 range, I see you brought 2 comparables, one for 6,000, one for roughly 4,200. I'm thinking I'm reading this correctly.
yes,
But the rents are considerably lower. Well, maybe not considerably, that maybe is an exaggeration. The rents are lower than the model is suggesting.
Yes.
So I'm wondering if you could explain that. You're proposing a $7.09 rent compared to $6.50 and $6.75 for that particular premise.
Yes.
Even the smaller portion. Oh no, I'm looking at the wrong ones. Yeah, particularly that one, I think, is what I have questions about.
the 5,000 square foot one.
Yeah.
That the reason that's actually that because like, for example, like there's this property was built in kind of different time frames, if you will. So that's why there's an effective year built of 1912 to 1995. So that particular premise, from what we have on file, it would be more of the newer space that we have on file. So
Okay.
that would be one of the reasons why we'd have a little bit higher rent on it. Yeah, and I don't dispute, you're right. It's a little bit higher than some of my rent comparables.
And so you're true, like what would be, how much newer?
I mean, based on the ages, like I said, actually, I have it broken kind of down because we have multiple buildings. So, like I said, there was built in kind of 3 different parts. Like I said, based on the information I have, like there were some parts of the building that were built in 1912. I believe it was more of the basement space. That space was closer to 95 from the information I have. Again, this is the best information I have. So I'm not gonna lie. I apologize. I haven't inspected the property, so I can't say for certain the specifics. So But at the, yeah, but I understand that your concern there, obviously, when the differences, and obviously at the end of the day, we're using a blended rent at the, obviously overall, but you're right. I mean, you're right, a higher, regardless if there's a higher rent, in that case, it could affect the overall rent. Yeah, so.
Exactly. And it's, it's roughly a quarter of the space. So
Yes,
it does,
sure.
it would have an impact. So I'm just trying to understand, what's driving the model. Did you give it an overall effective year?
Yes, basically what we would, like I said, we would kind of look at it over, an overall effective year would have been 1954 is what because if you look at actually page 1, you'll see the effective year builds or the actual year builds from 1912 to 1995. So we're essentially using effective year built of 1954 overall.
Okay, so for an overall effective year of 1954, and I understand cap rates are, reflect several things, but you've given it an 8.65 cap.
Yes.
So does that age really figure into that cap rate?
Yeah, it would be like our cap rates derive in terms of like age, size, location, for example, and also wall height. So it's obviously got a wall height of, it ranges from 12 to 20 feet. So that would be another factor that would play into the cap rate. So, it's not really one item. Yeah, it's kind of like encompasses the whole property. We're looking at everything. So yeah.
As you noted, it's a fairly high cap rate, and outside that range.
Yeah, it would be kind of like the norm.
Yeah, it struck me when I was considering this cap rate compared to the previous property where you gave a 1955 building a 6.9 cap.
True. That building though, was 4,000 square feet. This is a 22,000 square feet building. So that's kind of the big one. It would be the biggest factor. Yeah, it would be the size. Yeah. So. Okay.
So size really plays a factor into this. Is this considered a larger building in terms of warehouse space?
I mean, I wouldn't say I'd say medium size. It's not large. I mean, I consider large like 50,000 plus, but yeah, this would be like an average size building. Yeah. For storage warehouse. Yeah. So.
Okay. And are your rent comparables similar in terms of finish? You've given these all a standard finish. Are the rent comps similar that way?
Yeah, I mean, I won't dispute some of them. Like, as you can see, some of them, like some of the bigger ones, like, again, I'm trying to show an overall, like some of them are slightly newer, 1964, 1969, 18-foot wall heights. So those are higher rents, obviously, overall rents, I guess. So, yeah, so I won't dispute some of these are better than the subject for sure. So, but like I said, I'm trying to, I'm trying my best to kind of show an overall, there are some better, some worse. So it's kind of, it's very,
No, I appreciate you answering the specific questions I have about them. No I know you can only show so much in your tables. So
it's hard to. I mean, maybe going forward, I could putting in some photos of the comparables to kind of help better idea of what they could look like, so you can get an idea better maybe going forward. So
sometimes that does help, right? So you kind of understand. Okay, thank you so much for your answers there. No more questions.
Thanks, Lynn. Gisela, any questions of the assessor?
No, I have no questions. Thank you.
Thank you. My only question is, Mr. Harling, what streets are we between on Aaron Street, 803? Or Sergeant?
I think you should look at my photo on page.
St. Matthews and Portage.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Okay. All right. St. Matthews and Portage. Thank you. All right. That is my only question. Okay. Mr. Rahal, bear with us 1 second. We're going to pull up the information you submitted. And does everybody have it?
Yes.
Okay.
No, getting there. Okay. Just give me a minute.
Thank you.
Okay, got it.
Okay, Mr. Rahal, when you're ready, please.
Yeah, so we've submitted some comparables and considering the condition and the age of our building, and finding and some of the findings of this meeting, we've proposed on our documents here, that we be assessed quite a bit less than what it is.
Yeah, Mr. Rahal, I think we're all reviewing these a little bit in advance of you right now. And I'm just going to make a comment here that we do not put any, accept any evidence of assessment comparisons.
Okay.
Yeah. So if you would.
Yeah, they were, yeah. Okay.
Yeah, maybe with that in mind, you can proceed. Thank you.
All right, so I guess by disregarding, I guess, some of these assessment comparables, then we have some pictures of our building condition. It is 1912. It's not an easy building to upkeep. It's very old. It has heating I guess deficiencies, a lot of leakages. It's not a 2000 build, so we are dealing with cost of keeping these kind of legacy buildings up.
Okay. Would you mind, are we referring to the pictures starting on page 7? Is that?
That's correct, yes. So the picture of our property starts on page 4.
4, okay, thank you.
Yeah. And so you've got a picture of the second floor of our building there, partial. In front is the a building that's connected to ours, but it's not our building. It's another company. So it'd be 807. You can see that
Okay.
picture. So that's picture there. I guess on page 5 we have just a picture of the value, assessed value. We have a shared sprinkler system with 803 Erin Street as well. A very old sprinkler system, but it's maintained and inspected by Vipond every year. So that's shared with 803 Erin Street. So that would be something to consider as well. Page 6 shows a picture of one of my tenants' roof lining. Not insulated. Numbers, page 7. So basically, it's just pictures of our building. It is old, and number 7, page 7 shows an old build. It is a cinder block construction. That part there, that picture from page 7 shows probably, I would say, the 1954 edition. The front of the building, which was probably on the earlier, the front of the building would probably show on page 10.
Okay.
So page 10 is a very old portion of the building. Parts of it 1912 for sure. When we gutted out some of the rooms, we actually pulled out invoices from 1912. So that was pretty interesting. So yeah, that would be pretty much that would be our presentation.
Okay. Thank
So
you.
yes, we have an assessed value of $850,000 to $900,000.
Right.
Yeah, 1.3 is way too high for our building, considering its age, the condition, and the presentation I just put forth.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Mr. Harling, any questions of the applicant?
I guess, yeah, just looking at the pictures, yeah, I definitely dispute there's definitely some older space here for sure. So like, I just noticed on page 9 too, the basement space, like, I guess you're just using that for storing stuff. It looks like,
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you can see the basement is definitely 1912.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, I don't dispute that. Yeah. And is it on page 8? Is that part of the basement too by any chance, or is that further up? Sorry, or
Page 8 is yes.
okay.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, perfect. No, that's the question I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Gisela, any questions of the appellant?
Yes, I'm just wondering, when you took these photos, or who took these photos and when they were taken of your building?
Yeah, Kelvin, my brother, he just took these pictures about a month ago. We both own the building, the building.
Okay,
These are very recent pictures. They're not even a month ago.
okay, thank you.
Thank you, Gisela. Lynn, any questions of the applicant?
No, thank you. No questions.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Rehal, I'm going to refer to your page 1, your cover sheet, where you come up with your opinion of value that the property should be assessed at. Could I ask you where you get that value from?
Well, I mean, we looked at some of the comparables. Obviously, that's not in consideration at this point. We took some, the square footage of our building, considering the area that we're using.
Okay.
We just did, to be honest, we just did the quick math. We feel that it should be in that range.
Okay.
Mhm.
Have you recently had a market evaluation by a commercial appraiser or realtor?
No.
Okay. And how many years have you owned this property?
Oh gosh, we've owned this property since 1986.
Okay, just approximately. So in the mid 80s. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. And do you have any idea if the assessor's estimate of market rents are accurate in the marketplace, or?
Well, no, so the assessor's market rates are quite a bit higher than what we are charging.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Are you charging gross rents for? Is there two leases? Is that correct?
Yes, correct.
Okay.
Yeah. One is about $1,500. She's got the smaller area. I think it was what, 22,000 or something like that. 2,000 square feet, 2,500. Yeah, and the 5,000 is about 4,500. We're charging them,
Okay.
which is quite a bit less.
Okay.
And I don't want to increase the rent this year. Everybody's feeling the pinch and struggling. They're very good renters. I don't want to lose them.
No. Okay.
So I'm trying to help them out.
All right. I think we've got a clear picture of your situation here. Matthew, any requirement for a summary at all?
No, I think I'm good. I just let the speaker
Mr.
line.
Rehal, any requirement for summary? I think you've stated your case very well. And anyway, any requirement for summary?
No, I'm good. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so that concludes 803 Aaron Street. Thank you, Mr. Rehal. You'll hear from us as soon as possible. Okay, thank you.
Great.
Aaron.
Thanks. Take care.
Thank you. Okay. Does anybody need a quick break before we proceed with, I believe we've got one agent representing the rest of the properties on the docket?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Lynn, are you okay?
I'm good.
Gisela?
I'm fine, thank you.
Okay. Matthew, you okay? Okay.
Good to go.
Okay, so we're going to wait for, I believe, Mr. Rack. Anybody?
Yeah, I'm just letting you know, Mr. Chair. Okay, Mr. Rack is here.
Hello, Mr. Rack.
Hello,
Hello, Mr. Rack. How are you?
good yourself?
Good, thanks. Okay, so I think we've got a couple of properties with you, right? Okay, so we're going to start with Item number 4 on the docket, file number 223746, 197 Watt Street. Bear with us 1 second, Mr. Harling, and we will get your brief up on screen. Is everybody got it now? No, okay, Lynn.
I think we have to swear in Mr. Rack.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry. You're right. Thank you.
Thanks, Lynn. Mr. Rack, please state your full name.
Lyle Rack.
Thank you. Do you affirm that the evidence you are about to give at this hearing is the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Kumar. Mr. Harling, when you are ready, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The file number is 22-3746. The roll number is 1408-307-1100. The address is 197 Watt Street. And the owners are Prestige Auto Body and Frame Limited, Repairs Limited. 2023 assessed value based on reference date of April 1st, 2021 is $664,000. Some information about the property below. We are classifying the property as an industrial warehouse. It is a 1-story building. The actual year builds range from 1956 to 1958. We are using an effective year built in 1956. Wall heights range from 11 to 12 feet. The land areas range from 30,803 square feet, with a leasable area of 7,400 square feet and a land plan area of 4.11. We go to page 2 of my brief. Just to see the request for information have been received. There are no recent sales on this property, and there are no subject property leases in place. If we go to page 3 of my brief, you'll see some of my rent comparables. These comparables range from the start date of 2017 to 2020. The lease terms range from 2 to 5 years. Leasable areas range from 2,400 square feet to 12,000 square feet. The wall heights range from 8 to 15 feet. The effective year builds range from 1956 to 1980. And the net rents range from $6.03 a square foot to $8.93 a square foot. And if we go to page 4 of my brief, you'll see the workup. Again, we're classifying this property as a storage warehouse. You'll see the 3 premises we have allotted for the subject for the total area of 7,400 square feet. We're applying a blended rent, a model rent of $6.17 a square foot. This gives us a potential rent of $45,723. We're allowing 3% for vacancy loss, 3% for non-recoverable expenses, and $3.85 a square foot to cost to cover vacancy and shortfall, which gives us a net operating income of $42,165. And we're applying an overall capitalization rate of 6.35%, which gives us an effective, an estimated value of $664,000. We go to page 5 of my brief, you'll just see the income value summary. Page 6 of my brief, you'll just see some cap rate information. Again, we're applying a cap rate of 6.35%. So if you kind of look at some of the outside sources, it's still within that range. And again, cap rates within the city, within the 28th percentile, cap rates will fall within 5.5 to 7.54% is what we're finding most cap rates fall within. Page 7 of my brief, you'll just see some municipal assessment acquisition information. And I'll go to page 8 of my brief. You'll see where the subject property is located on Watt Street. So you'll see Watt there and Chalmers Avenue, where it's cross street. Page 9 of my brief, you'll see a street view of the photo of the subject. So there's the front of it, and then I've just shown at the bottom, page 9, just another angle to show the subject property. This continued on page 10, just to kind of show the side and then kind of the further back of the property. We continue to page 11. You'll just see the parcel outline, the subject, and just kind of see the full size of the overall parcel. Let's continue on page 12 and just shows the rear of the subject property. If we go to page 13 of brief, you'll just see the, again, parcel boundary and the current assessed value. And I'll go to page 14 of my brief. You'll just see the income and expense mailer. Is partially owner occupied. There's one tenant in the property. This is continued on page 15. And then page 16 through 18 are just some outside source information regarding cap rates and just current Q1 industrial market report. That is my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Harling. Mr. Rock, any questions of the assessor's evidence presented?
Not on the evidence presented, no, sir.
Thank you. Then any questions of the assessor?
Yes, Mr. Harling, is this like an auto body shop where they do auto body repair, painting, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, like as I said, there's like two tenants in it from my understanding. There's the Ed's Prestigious Auto Body, and then there's like a metal shop, I believe, is the other tenant in there. So it's a combination of
Okay, are your rent comparables similar? Are they also body shops?
No, I won't dispute that they are. We're classifying this property as a storage warehouse. Typically, I mean, it is more of a vehicle service garage, but currently we are assessing it as a storage warehouse. So I was trying to find comparables similar to the current way we are classifying it. So I won't dispute none of my comparables would be considered vehicle storage garage, or auto body shops, if you will. So
okay, can I just ask for some clarification? Why classify it as a storage warehouse when it's a body shop?
Yeah, I'll be honest with you. That was before coming to the hearing. That was something I was actually speaking to one of the other assessors about, who's dealt with them, and I'm certain I believe this is something we should change going forward. I wasn't the one who changed to this, so it's been like this for quite a while. So, but it might be something we should look at going in the future. I won't dispute. So,
okay. Have you inspected the property?
No, I unfortunately have not inspected. No.
As a body shop, are you aware? Is there any contamination issues?
I can't speak to that, but I believe Mr. Rack has some information regarding that as evidence. So
okay.
I'm not 100% aware though, but I'd assume yes, most auto body shops or vehicle service garages would have some kind of contamination issues based on the chemicals and nature of the business that they do. Yeah. So. Okay.
And so your average rent, if I average out the premises, is 6.18.
Yes.
So the model, your rent comparables really aren't relevant, or are they? Are they relevant? I guess they're relevant as
I mean, like I said, they're
storage warehouses, but
yeah, they're similar in terms of again, size, wall height, age and such like that. But yes, you're right. In terms of the actual use, I won't dispute that. So I mean, but a lot of vehicle service garages would be higher rents. So that's why I'm trying to be compare. I didn't want to show rents that were completely higher than the subject. So that's why I asked. So.
Okay, I'm sorry, you said a lot of vehicle service garages have higher rents?
Well, the rents would be typically for vehicle service garages would be higher, yes. Just looking at some of the comparables I've seen. I just didn't put any of those comparables in because we're not classifying it as a vehicle service garage.
Right. I was just thinking this is a 1956 to 58 property too, so it's
not. I mean, you're right. Yeah, I mean, obviously that's going to have some variation in it too, based on the age. Yeah, it's comparing it to a brand new building, garage. I wouldn't say that would be comparable for sure. So.
Okay, and I just noticed that your cap rate of 6.35, when I look at the real estate market reports, sorry, I have to get there, I'm scrolling madly. It's towards the bottom end of the real estate market reports.
Yeah,
or would you say that? Am I it's for sure it's lower than the lowest of CBRE?
Yeah, if you're looking at some of the different partners in the market, I won't dispute there's a bit of a difference if you look at where it falls within. Again, we were speaking to the other property before. Like I said, there's obviously factors such as age, size, location. So those factors would drive the cap rate again. And again, it is only 7,400 square foot building, so it's not significantly large. So. Yeah. Again, it is model cap rate, but it is based on those parameters, as I said. Like that one property we spoke to before, that wouldn't have as good as exposure as this property was compared to that other one. So that was another reason why the cap rate might be a little bit compressed comparative. So,
okay.
And again, too, you're right. Age, size, wall height. It's a lot of factors that go into it. So, but I don't disagree. They're right. There are some support for cap rates, but it's it does fall in the range within some of them and some that's not, but it's
Collier's is kind of in the middle.
Yeah.
Cushman, or CBRE, it's below.
Yeah, if you look,
Cushman, it's hard to really figure that out because it's kind of in the low end, but
in the midst,
bottom third maybe.
Yeah, we're
Like,
trying
there's
to
not
show
much of a difference, right?
for sure. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So
But even the cities at 5.55, like
I mean,
it's,
you don't see, I mean, those would be reserved for more like newer, smaller, even smaller buildings. So, those would be, you're not going to see as many 5.5s for buildings of this size and quality and nature. Yeah. So,
yeah, okay.
just
Okay,
saying, yeah.
thank you. That's all my questions.
Thanks, Lynn. Gisela, any questions?
No, I have no questions. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Matthew, on your workup on page 4, could you detail what I believe there's 3 tenants in there, is that correct? Or 3?
Well, there's actually only, like I said, from the information I have from the mailer and we have in our system, there's 2, there's 1 tenant and the other one's owner occupied. So but it's just the way we have it broken down, I guess. So the majority of the space is owner occupied, yeah. So, but
okay, which is the body shop?
it would be, I'm just trying to compare here. I believe it would be the 4225, the larger area. So I can verify that with you just to make sure. If you give me 2 seconds, I can verify the system actually, because I can pull this up quickly.
Probably Mr. Rack can let us know too. But so the body shop is occupying more than 50% of that premises. Would that be fair?
Based on the most recent mailer, that's what I'm going by. Yes, correct. Yeah, as I said, sometimes our records in our system need to be updated because we don't always have the most up-to-date information because we have to inspect and. But that's the most. I would be resorting to the mailer.
Okay.
Which we have the most.
And just to confirm, the remaining square footage is assigned to a metal working shop. Is that correct, or a metal fabricating business?
Yeah, I believe it's A-top metal. Again, Mr. Rack might have be able to give you more insight, but yeah.
All right, fair enough. Yeah, thanks. That's all my questions. Okay.
Mr. Chair, can I have one more? Oh, no. You know what? I'm not going to ask it because it wasn't really presented in your evidence. Okay, not a problem.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so Mr. Rack, just bear with us 1 second until we pull up your brief, please. Okay, does everybody have Mr. Rack's brief?
I do, yes.
Yes.
Then you okay, Gisela? Okay, Mr. Rack, when you're ready, 197 Watt Street, please.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. There is no body shop in there anymore. What had happened was that the owner retired and he went to sell the body shop. And this goes back quite a few years ago. There's someone interested in it. There was no business going on at the time. It was kind of his retirement income to sell it. And they requested to have, because there's in-ground hoists, and it's kind of known that the in-ground hoists from the old days, when the hoist came out of the ground, that they were hydraulically controlled, and they're known for leakage. So he got he hired Pinchon Environmental to come down, it was condition of the sale, to determine whether or not there's any contamination on the property. If you look at page 1, where the sign is to the right, you'll see the grass is kind of shaped at a curve. And if you look at the bottom picture, you'll see that curve goes over Watt Street around. That's actually an old CN spur line. And that was, there's contamination on the property, and that spur line contributed to the contamination. So if you go to page 2, you'll see the inside of the body shop. That car on the left is actually the owner's car. And that truck there is a friend of his that he's been working on for decades to fix it up. So what has happened was that he actually got divorced. That kind of spurred the sale of the property. Since the property didn't sell, he's actually living in that property and friends' places. The divorce basically bankrupted him. But we'll get to the environmental report. So 2016, Pinchon came in. You'll see page 2, they put 15 boreholes into the ground to take samples. And basically from those samples, they came up with evaluation. It was a 114-page report. And if you go down to page 3, these are the tables in the report of all the analysis. There's 9 different tables. Their samples were taken and contamination was discovered. And there's waste oil was discovered in the groundwater. If you go to page 4 at the top there, there was also contaminants found from a former foundry that was about 16 meters north of the site. And there was also contamination found due to the spur line, the sand spur line that went by the property. And I don't know if that was from leakage from the train, whatever it was carrying, or whether it's from the oil from the train wheels. But it was they found that there was contamination. So if you go to page 5 at the top, you'll see that it says Pynchon recommends that the underground hydraulic hoists be decommissioned, and that the soil and the groundwater impacts are remediated at the time of decommissioning. It also states, as the impacts that were identified along the former railroad tracks are metals and PHCF4 impacts. I have no idea what that is. So if you continue down, you'll see basically there's an email from Pynchon, and then they contacted Mill Environmental Corporation, which is page 6, and they came up with an estimate what it would cost to remediate the site, dig everything up, remove all the contaminated material, replace it with uncontaminated material, and basically decommission the hoists and remove that material. So they have a total heavy metal impact soil analysis, and they came up with a total value of $450,750. So $450,000 to remediate that site. So basically the sale fell through. If you go to page 7, this is from appraisal, how you appraise contaminated properties. So basically, you have an unimpaired value, an impaired value, and then basically by subtracting the two, you get what the value of the property is, because you have to clean it up if you wanted to do anything with it. You can leave it the way it is, but if you wanted to do anything with that property, you're going to have to clean that up, or the government comes in and says you have to clean it up. So on page 8, it says lenders' perceptions of environmental risk. So basically what has happened is now the ability to get a mortgage, you'd have to pay cash for the property. No one is going to give you a mortgage. So these are the percentages that came up from the study before cleanup, during cleanup, and after cleanup, what the percentages of lending institutions would give you a mortgage. So then you have the unimpaired value, which is the department's value of $664,000. Remediation is going to cost you $457.50, so you got an impaired value of $213,250. So that's basically what the property is worth if you had to buy it and remediate the site. You'd have to take that into consideration. And this cost does not include what the owner paid for the actual study from Pynchon Environmentalists. So I'm asking the board to take into account the consideration of the soil and the water contamination of the property, which would basically impact the value of the property. So on page 8, you'll see that the property went up 59%. And basically due to the contamination, I'm using all the parameters from the city and using their NOI of $42,165. And I'm applying a 10% cap rate. So how I got the 10% cap rate is basically back in 2018, the assessor at the board of revision basically recommended a 10.5% cap rate, which I accepted. And in 2020, the board decided a 10% cap rate. So I'm applying a 10% cap rate to come up with a value of $421,000, taking in consideration of the contamination on the property, which is far above what it's be actually worth at $213,250. And I've seen this in other properties. I know there's a property on the top of Green Street where I used to live. It used to be an Esso station, and basically it cost them it was for sale, and it cost them a little over $1 million to clean up that site, and they only sold the property for a little over $1 million. So the impact of contamination is very critical on the evaluation of a property. And that's my presentation, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Rack. Mr. Harling, any questions of the appellant?
So I'm just, I maybe I didn't catch it when you first said, so is it, so it's not being used as an auto body shop anymore? Or like, or is it, what's it being, I'm just curious what's in there right now, what's being used, I guess, or?
Well, the owner of the property shut down his body shop, and basically he uses it for personal items, and due to his financial stress or distress, he's actually spending a lot of his time living in that property now. So there is no body shop. If you looked at the business, I guess you wouldn't look, but if you look at the BA business assessment of the property, Steve Alden came down, inspected it, and took it off the roll once he saw that there was no body shop in there. So I don't think that would, you would know that, but basically there is no business being carried on in the body shop.
Okay. No, that's just the only question I had. Thank you.
Thank you, Matthew. Gisela, any questions of the appellant?
Yes, just a few. I'm wondering, first of all, how long the body shop has been out of this particular site?
Has been on the site?
No, how long has it been since the body shop closed at the site?
Oh, I would say around 2018 it closed. No, but earlier than that, maybe 15, 16.
Okay, I noticed in the pension report that the owner said that he would like to have the impacts, the environmental impacts managed in place as opposed to having the whole thing dug up and remediated. And I'm wondering if that is even an option for the owner and how much that might cost if it is.
I don't have any estimates of that. I couldn't answer that question, sorry.
Okay, thank you. That's all my questions.
Thank you.
Just comment that I know he spent, this report was worth about $15,000.
Okay,
Quite
thank you.
expensive.
Thank you, Mr. Rack. Then any questions of the applicant?
Yeah, just one question. I'm looking at your page 6, which is the Miller Environmental Corporation quote. What was the date of that report? Or that quote?
I'm assuming that quote from the email would have been in 2016 sometime.
Okay.
Because that's when pension basically did the report, was February 2nd, 2016 from their from page 2. So I would think that shortly after that, he would have got that estimate.
Okay. So then I just have a question. Maybe that I don't know if you, was all this information presented at a 2020 Board of Revision, or was there an appeal in 2020?
Yes, there's an appeal on this property with this information on 2018 and 2020.
Okay, so can I ask Mr. Hutchings, can I ask Mr. Harling a question?
Of course.
Mr. Harling, given that this information should be on file about the contamination and the cost to remediate, why did it go up so much?
I don't, let me see here. I have to take a look at the previous evidence. I'll be honest that you give me a second, I could actually pull it up. I just want to just see what we have on file. So
Okay, I know that's not relevant to this appeal specifically, but it does sort of raise the question.
yeah, I mean, like I said, if you just give me a minute, I can just quickly check, and I just want to see why it wasn't there. Because I spoke to these. Just give me a moment here.
You might, Matthew, you might be easier to check if you could see the board revision decision from 2018 when the assessor it was a lady of, can't remember her name, but she made a recommendation of a cap rate of 10.5%. States it on the decision.
Yeah, I don't, unfortunately, I apologize, I can't find the information, but
No,
I guarantee it's theirs, yeah, but you're right, I mean, that's something that can be taken a look, should be taken a look into, honestly, I don't disagree with you on that, so I'll, going forward, I'll take a look at this, obviously, so yeah.
Okay,
I apologize, I
thank
didn't
you.
have a lot of time to go over as many as I'd like, so, but.
No, that's okay. And I realize that the previous assessments, we're not talking about them. They're done and over, but it did sort of strike me as odd if this information is from 2016.
Okay, yeah, no.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Lynn. Mr. Rack, just to understand your I'll call it your workup, you're accepting the city's parameters and applying a cap rate of 10%. Is that correct?
That's correct, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. And my second question is regarding the contamination. I think from the report that you presented, there's one that's on site resulting from that hydraulic lift contamination, but the other contamination is off property that's seeped into the subject property. Is that correct?
That's correct. That's from the rail line, the spur rail line.
Okay. I'm not sure how to ask this question without being leading, but I don't know if it's beyond your expertise, but I think we've all seen situations where contaminated property is fenced off because it's considered dangerous during remediation. This property isn't at that point. Would that be fair because the owner is living on it? Or what's your opinion of that?
Yes, like basically the contamination is in the ground.
Okay.
So because it's in the ground, it doesn't really pose a heavy risk. Like you're not going to get contaminated walking on the property.
Okay.
But I mean, there are a lot of properties that have groundwater and soil contamination.
Yeah. So if there was, it restricts the use because if there was any construction to take place, it would expose or open up that contaminated soil and that kind of thing. Is that what you're saying?
That's correct. Like if you
Okay.
wanted to do something with the property other than just leave it as it is, you'd have to remediate it. But as long as you don't touch it, you're okay. But it does impact what can be done to the property and sale, because now it's been listed as contaminated. Not many people want to buy that. It just it inhibits getting a mortgage and future sale.
So in your opinion, if somebody was to purchase this property and leave the existing building and use it in place, is there still an impact on the value of the property?
Yes.
Okay. All right. That's everything answered. Thank you, Mr. Rack. Okay. Any requirement for summary, Mr. Harling?
No, I think I'm good. Thank you.
Mr. Rack?
No, thank you.
Okay, thank you. That concludes 197 Watt Street. Next item on the docket is item number 5, file number 22-3722. It is 845 Marion Street, and we're dealing with a 2023 realty assessment. And Mr. Harling, please bear with us a second while we pull up your brief for 855 Marion.
35 still.
And Mr. Chairman, there's
835 Marion Street. I'm sorry. 835 Marion. I'm sorry, Mr. Rapp.
just to get you ready for pulling up, I sent in the brief, and then there's another attachment with pictures of the property, and then I have a rebuttal brief for the property, just to let you know.
Okay. Mr. Kumar, do we have the submitted pictures that Mr. Lack is referring to?
The rebuttals are not in the folder, Mr. Chair, yet, but I will just put that into there.
Okay, so we'll wait, please. Might as well do it now, I guess. And then Mr. Harling can start with 835 Marion Street.
Are we gonna wait till we get it, or sure? Sorry, you're.
I think we'll wait.
Okay.
Yeah, I think we can just proceed all the way through. Thanks, Matthew.
That's just the rebuttal. Sure.
Okay. And that this would be for both the pictures and the rebuttal?
The pictures were there already. It's
Oh,
just,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Let's see where we are. I do not see the rebuttal in my file.
I'm just sending it there.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Okay, it's there, Mr. Chair.
Okay, what I would ask is Mr. Harling, would you mind reviewing that and tell us if you have any objection to it being submitted at this point in the hearing?
I don't think I will, but I'll just do a quick check. So.
Yeah, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, the pictures of the property were submitted along with the brief.
Right, I understand that, yeah. But it's the rebuttal that we're referring to.
Yeah, the rebuttal was submitted, oh, that's right. So it was submitted yesterday, but it was late.
Yeah. So I'm going to ask Mr. Harling's opinion on whether he agrees to allow it or not to allow it.
Give me one
Well, I was
second.
under the understanding, Mr. Chairman, that rebuttal can be submitted at the hearing when we were doing it in person. There wasn't an actual time date for a rebuttal.
Yeah, I'm not going to post anything. That's fine. Yeah. So.
You're not opposing it, okay? Would the panel like a recess to discuss this in private, please?
Sure.
Your
Sure.
opinion? Yes?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay, so we're going to go in camera to discuss this rebuttal admission, okay? Submission, pardon me.
The line, Mr. Chair.
Thank you. I'll call the hearing back to order. Okay, Mr. Rack, the panel will accept the rebuttal evidence and it'll be dealt with after Mr. Harling presents his brief, okay? Thank you. Mr. Harling, when you are ready, bear with me 1 second. Just floating around here. 835 Marion Street, please.
Hey, Mr. Chairman. The file number is 22-3722. The roll number is 0603221160. The address is 835 Marion Street, and the owner is BBD Holdings Limited. The 2023 assessed value based on a reference date of April 1st, 2021 is $2,807,000. Just before I go further with my brief, I just was looking at some of the information regarding this property, and particularly our rent. So I do have a recommendation that I'll put forth, whether it's accepted or not. But so I'm recommending to adjust our overall rent. We're currently using we're using a model rent of $4.04. So I'm proposing a revised rent of $3.55 a square foot. So this would drop the assessed value from $2,807,000 to $2,450,000. So that's the rec I'm presenting.
Matthew, would you mind giving us your revised numbers?
Sure, I can do that. So the potential rent revised would be 267.97. The vacancy would be still 4% at 10,432. The effective gross income would be 250,365. The shortfall would be 11,313. The 3% would be the same at 7,511. The net operating income would be 231,541.
And the same cap rate?
Yes, everything else would be the same cap rate, 9.65.
Okay. And your revised value was, I'm sorry?
2,450,000.
Okay. Mr. Rack, any comment?
What rate did you say you were gonna use?
$3.55.
355. Just give me a sec, Mr. Chairman. I just want to do a quick calculation.
Of course.
You're saying 2,414,000? Is that what you're saying?
2,450,000 is what I come up with.
Sorry, Mr. Chairman. I just have to do some calculations here.
Yeah, no, take your time.
I'm going to counter you, Matthew.
Sorry?
I would accept $3.45. Now we get a value of $2,378.
Okay, so Mr. Rack, we're not going to negotiate here. You have to present that as evidence. So you're not accepting the recommendation of the assessor?
No, not at this time, then, Mr. Chairman. Not close enough.
Okay, thank you. Lynn, any questions of the assessor right now?
No, other than I would just like to know the basis of the rent decrease.
Like I said, it's a unique building, and just looking at some of the rents, it's a tough building to find comparisons for. So I felt the 404 was a little high, so I felt 355 would be more fair assessed value. So I mean, obviously some of my rent comps are a little higher. So and I don't dispute some of these rents are a little bit better than the subject. So
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Lynn. Gisela, any questions?
No, I'm good, thank you.
Okay, Matthew, just to clarify or to review this, you're recommending a revised overall rent of $355, using the same parameters of 4% vacancy, 3% expenses, for a revised NOI of $231,541.
that is
Using
correct.
the same cap rate at 9.5% equals a recommended value of $2,450,000.
That is correct.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now, Mr. Rack, would you like to go through your rebuttal on the evidence presented by the assessor? Just bear with us so we can find that document.
So, Assessor, I'm not sure if sorry, Mr. Chair, I'm not sure if the assessor has presented yet.
The applicant.
No, assessor.
Yeah, I just kind of presented my rec. I never went through the whole brief, so but
Oh, okay.
So the assessor has presented his revised workup, and he read it into the record. So we're going to consider that evidence submitted. And although you didn't you did refer to your comparables and you were revising the value. Is that right, Matthew?
yeah, based on my comparables. But you don't need me to go through the whole brief or anything like that at all, I guess, or no?
I don't think so. I think we've got all the information. We followed through and.
Okay, sure. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, okay.
Okay, Mr. Rack, where is your document on the rebuttal here? Just bear with us. Where would that be hiding, Mr. Kumar?
Mr. Lyles?
Here we are, 835 Marion. Does everybody have it?
Yes.
Okay. Mr. Rack, when you're ready, please, the rebuttal.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So the rebuttal is just basically pictures of the assessor's comparables.
Maybe I can ask you a question. Maybe, Mr. Rack, sorry. Maybe I'll ask you a question. Is this still relevant now that he's revised his value to $3.55, in your opinion?
Of course.
Okay.
It is.
Okay, thank you. Go ahead.
Because these comparables basically demonstrate that even his recommendation is too high for the condition of the subject property. So basically, we're going to go through this and then you'll see pictures of the subject property and the rents that are being generated. So you'll see the first one is Serene, 435, if I pronounce that correctly. And you'll see it's a concrete block building. It's newer than the subject, better condition. And the rent there is $4.96. Next comparable, 666 Ellis, 6,042 square feet at $3.90. So basically what I'm asking for in my brief is $3.31. So 331 to 390, there's not much difference, and that's a far superior building, the subject property. Concrete block, on Ellis, better location than the subject property. If you go down to the Aaron property, 19,000 at $4.83. That is totally more a better building than the subject property, concrete block with the facade of brick. If you go down to the Coulter property number 4, 19,000 at $4.53. Far superior building in better condition. It's got the same kind of siding as the subject property, but it is in way better condition. The Henry property, again, is a concrete block building in better condition. And the most surprising one at all is the 889 Aaron, 61,499 square feet at $3.67 for that property. You can see the front door. That's the address, 889 Aaron. So when you're looking at the property that I'm going to present, and I'm using $3.31 for 30 some odd cents more, you'd be better off renting this building. That's a pretty nice building. And then if you look at Barrie, 590 Barrie, that's a newer, better building, all concrete block with brick exterior at $4.17. And just you can see that the actual tenant there, I didn't supply interior pictures, but that's a environmentally controlled system in there that they basically, the inside of the building is beautiful. That's where they kind of grow plants and stuff in the specific environmental conditions. So all these properties are superior, better location than in St. Boniface, and basically the Aaron at $3.67, when I'm using $3.31, is a far superior building. That's my rebuttal, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you. Matthew, any questions of Mr. Rack's rebuttal?
No, I have no questions. I'm good.
Thank you. Lynn, any questions?
No questions.
Thank you. Gisela?
No questions, thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Okay, we will go and find Mr. Rack's brief. Bear with us, please. For 835 Marion.
It looks like we've lost Mr. Rack.
Can you hear me?
Oh, no, I think he's still there.
I don't
We
see
lost
you.
your picture, yeah.
We don't see you.
I think he was connected.
Mr. Kumar, I think we will recess for 7 minutes while this technical issue gets ironed out, please.
Yeah, for sure, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Yeah, line, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Kumar. I'll now call the hearing back to order. Okay, Mr. Rack, you are presenting your brief on 35 Marion Street. When you're ready, please.
Yeah, I'll start with the pictures first.
Are we going to the end of your brief or?
No, I have another, when I submitted my brief, there was two parts of it. One was the brief and then one was a whole bunch of pictures.
Oh, okay.
Separate attachments.
Ah, right, okay. Does everybody have it?
Yes,
Yes.
Okay, we got you now. Okay, Mr. Rack.
Okay, I'm just going to make one comment about the assessor's brief that it stated on the first page that that there was the age of the building was, just one sec here, just so that you know. It said on page 1 that the age of the building was 1944 to 2001. The whole complex I'm showing you pictures of is from 1944, and it's basically in original condition. The only thing is that is 2001, is that in 2001, MTS put a switching station at the very back of the property, like a big shed, and that's 2001. The rest of the building is original 1944.
Okay,
So I'll go through my pictures. You can see on the top there's a diagram of the complex, and as you can see, there's multiple buildings there. And the owner states, told me that originally this building was built in 1944 to actually, they made Javix in this complex. That's why there's so many different buildings for the manufacturing of Javix. So you can imagine that. So you'll go see, so Eurocraft is basically, if you're looking at those number of buildings from left to right, building on the left that's separate is part of Eurocraft, and then the next building next to it to your right, the first section in the second complex is Eurocraft. So they basically make office furniture. So you'll see on page 1, you can see that the floors are concrete. The ceiling and the walls is all wood strapping, like 1 by, I guess they're probably 1 by 6s and 1 by 8s. So that's original to 1954. And as you see in the next picture, you can see how the ceiling is all just strapping. You go to the next page 2, you'll see that's the back entrance, the shipping area. And it's all just wood strapping. And you'll see it where it says the dust vacuum system. You can see the walls. Original on the top there, they didn't paint it, but you can see it's just all wood. The whole building is just basically wood. If you go to page 3, you can see that's part of the building has like a curved roof on it. And those are all old wood trusses that were built. Page 3 shows the montage of electrical boxes for the property. Page 4 again shows some of the construction area and storage for making the desks. On the bottom there again, you'll see another picture where you can see the wood. The walls are all basically just wood strapping again, no insulation. You go down to the next picture on page 5. Eurocraft has a small display area where you can basically order desks. And you'll see in the bottom of that picture how you have to step up. There's like a carpet, and then you step up 1 step. They had to build that because the floors are so cracked and uneven that they built a subfloor. So you kind of step up. It's like the floor you walk in is sunken, but they had to build that because the concrete was in such bad shape. All the concrete from building to building is very uneven. You go down to the next picture. Again, the offices, they're having a party there that day. And then you get down to bottom of page 6, that's cameo cabinets. There is no office space. And again, you can see it's just all strapping. And you go to page 7. I just had 1 picture, but there's many pictures of leaks in the roof. They have patched the roof since these pictures were taken. They haven't done all the roof, but they have patched it. This is the showroom for Voyager Glass. On the bottom, you'll see that's where they're doing, that's part of their assembly area. Page 8, again, you can see that's part of Voyager Glass. That's all their glass and to make windows. And you can see how rough the ceiling is, where there's indications where it's leaked before. It's got wood posts, a very rough space. And there you can see some pictures of the leaks on that ceiling. And you go to page 8, you can see another hodgepodge electrical panel. Character Homes is on the 2nd floor. And they have some warehouse space on the main floor. And the nicest space on page 8 at the bottom, that's the copy center. That was at one time drywalled. So that's the best space in there. So if you go to the next page 9, that's the exterior of the building. And you can see in the middle, there's that big top area that's above that garage door right in the middle. That covers that curved roof that's behind that. But you can see in these pictures, and especially the bottom one, how rough the outside walls are, how all that metal is all beat up. Windows have been basically, they've covered them with plywood because they're broken. But you can see at the bottom there, 841, the number of the entrance, how bad the door is. Those seals in the window are all rotted out. The metal is all beat up. And again, you can see in the next picture of the cars, page 10, you can see how all the wood on the top of the windows, that's all been put on there because the top windows were all broken on the top. They haven't put any money into that. And in the bottom page, on page 10, you can again see how beat up the building is. I mean, the metal is in really bad shape. So the whole complex is in, it's old 1954, basically original building. Nothing has changed in it. It's all wood construction. So it's a hard building to get comparables to. So that's my rebuttal, Mr. Chairman.
I believe that's your presentation of the pictures. Now we're going to go to your other document, your brief, Mr. Rack.
Sorry. Yes,
that's okay. A long day. So we'll go to your brief now, please.
Okay, so there's a brief, my brief, page 1. It's a Class D building, all wood construction, and that's a picture of basically the whole complex outside. I think I've talked about the floors and the roof in bad shape. So page 2 is basically the assessor or the valuation. If you go down to the commercial building sections, you'll see that actually this building is actually on the contaminated impact sites list. It's the very last one there. I have had I didn't to apply any rate adjustments or any cap rate adjustments for that impacted site. So you go down to, keep scrolling down, you'll see those are the income and expense mailers for the property. They're all gross leases. Keep scrolling down, scrolling down. So apologies, Mr. Chairman. I see I didn't put pages on. So if you keep scrolling down to where you get the actual rents, and there's yellow across. As owners are Eurocraft and Cameo Cabinets.
We do have page number 8 on there, I believe.
Oh. You have a page number?
Yeah.
Oh, then maybe I'm looking at a minute here. I had 2 copies of this brief, maybe one I changed and put oh, I got the one with the numbers. Okay, so I guess I better start again on page 1. Right after that, you have all the information from the assessment department. Page 3 has the contaminated information about the property. Page 4 is the income and expense. Page 5, income and expense. You'll see that it's checked off all gross leases. Page 6 is again information on the leases. 7 is the same. So we're down to page 8. So again, the owners are Eurocraft and Cameo Cabinets, and you'll see at the right there that the rent is $2.80 and $3.33. That's just the book rent. So I've taken adjusted the gross rents to market rents by using the arm's length leases from the actual tenants that are in there. So I've adjusted Eurocraft from $2.80 to $5, and I've adjusted the Cameo Cabinets to $4.50. And then I adjusted Character Homes because I think that was too low. It was at $3.29, so I adjusted that up to $5.50. And Eurocraft is similar to the Blind Shiners display area, but it has significantly more space. Cameo Cabinets has no showroom. So I'm getting a potential gross income of 390,588. As far as the page 9, I adjusted professional fees for the expenses. So basically here I've got adjusted market rent adjustments to market. So I've got the rentable area, adjusted the actual rents. There's an MTS land lease that's for the switching station. I've added that in, and I've added in parking. So I'm getting a gross potential of 403,348. So it's a gross of 529 a square foot. Go down to the expenses. I've adjusted the professional fees down to 3,746. So if you subtract the two, you're getting basically a net rent of $3.31 a square foot. Then using the department's parameters and the capitalization rate of 4.5%, I think is acceptable, even though there's contamination. It's kind of similar to what I was asking in the last property at 10%. So basically, I'm coming down using the parameters to a value of $2,276,000, and as my rebuttal brief showed, at $3.31. That's not too bad when the Aaron property is at 367. That's a far superior property. So I think the actuals that are getting in the property with the adjustments of the space for the owners is quite reasonable and is at market. And that's my presentation, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rack. Mr. Harling, any questions of the appellant?
Yeah, I just got one question. Just go on your page 9, because I've noticed there's a discrepancy in our leasable areas. So
Thank you.
there's a 76,274 square feet. We're at 73,464. And again, I know this is an old property. There's a lot of buildings, so it's probably very difficult to get the exact area. But I noticed you're using, if you derive your gross potential income, you're using 76,000 square feet. And then you've applied to our parameters, but then you're using our leasable area. So I'm just wondering why you're not, using the same leasable area, I guess, to drive your final assessed value. So, or your final estimated market value. So.
I would say that's an error on my part. I can recalculate that though.
Okay, no, I was just curious. That's all. So.
Yeah, that was just an error on my part of when I did the brief. You know what? I can. Let me give me 1 second, Mr. Chairman. I'll correct that.
Okay, so you're going to correct the leasable area to 76,274, apply 331, and then come down to your net operating income. Is that right?
That's correct.
Thank you.
So that now works out that the gross potential be 252,466.
Mhm. Yeah.
So that comes up with a new capitalized value of 2,363,000.
Mr. Brack, would you mind providing us with your revised net operating income?
Yes, that would be 252,466.
Is that your potential rent?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
I'm looking for the NOI.
At the end, the NOI would be 223,350. And then with the 9.45% cap rate comes out to 2,363,000 rounded.
Okay. 2,363,000. Okay. All right. So that's your revised requested market value. Is that correct?
Correct.
Thank you. Okay, Mr. Harling, any questions of the appellant?
No, that's all the questions I have. I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Lynn, any questions?
No, thank you. I also had the question about square footage.
Thank you. Gisela?
I'm assuming that even though this building has been listed on the contaminated impacted site list, that nothing needs to be done to remediate that?
Oh, definitely nothing has been remediated on the site.
Does it
Basically,
need
what,
to be remediated?
sorry for interrupting you. Could you say that again, please?
I'm sorry. Does it need to be remediated? I guess is my question.
Only if the use changed.
Okay. And I'm also wondering about, you indicated that the owners had to patch the roof.
Yes, there's they've been patching it over the years. If I hadn't, I used no calculation to basically to reflect that, but yes, the roofs, I mean, you can see the size of the building, that there's an awful lot of roofs and they're different styles, flat, curved. So over the years, he has been patching. You can see from the pictures inside the building and the outside of the building, all the siding, that it's in rough shape, but still holds the rain out.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Gisela. And I have no questions of the applicant. Any requirement for summary, Mr. Harling?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Mr. Rack?
No, thank you.
Thank you. That concludes 835 Marion Street. Next item on the docket is item number 8. And it's file number 223752. We're dealing with a 2023 realty assessment, and the address is 942 Elgin Avenue. Mr. Harling, bear with us 1 second, please. Okay. Okay, Mr. Harling, when you are ready, please.
Mr. Chairman. The file number is 22-3752. The roll number is 1307054250. The address is 942 Elgin Avenue, and the owners are 60737 Manitoba Limited. 2023 assessed value based on a reference date of April 1st, 2021 is $508,000. The subject property is considered an industrial warehouse, or parcel use as industrial warehouse. There's a warehouse. There are 4 premises on the roll of the property. It's a 1-story building. The actual year built range from 1963 to 1983. We're using effective year built in 1965. Wall heights are 10 to 13 feet. The land area is 13,214 square feet. The leasable area of 7,092. And a land plan area of 1.89. Go to page 2 of my brief, you'll see that the request for information has been provided. There are no recent sales in the subject, and there are no current property leases in place. Page 3 of my brief, you'll see my rent comparables. My rent comparables range from 2016 to 2019 in terms of lease start dates. The lease terms range from 4 to 6 years. The leasable areas range from 1,675 square feet to 10,000 square feet. The wall heights range from 14 feet to 15 feet. The effective year builds range from 1959 to 1972. And the net rents range from $6.27 a square foot to $7.80 a square foot. Go to page 4 of my brief, you'll just see the breakdown of the areas as well as the premises. We are using the overall blended model rent of $6.83 a square foot. This gives us a potential rent of $48,421. We're applying 6% for vacancy, 3% for non-probable expenses, and $3.85 a square foot to cost to cover vacancy or shortfall. This gives us a net operating income of $42,141, and we're applying the model cap of 8.30%, which gives us an estimated market value of $508,000. Go to page 5 of my brief, you'll just see the income value summary again. Go to page 6, this is my cap rate evidence. This property has a higher cap rate than your typical cap rate. It's a bit on the outlier, if you will. That would be based on such features such as the age, location, size. Again, it has lower land to plan ratio, so those would be some factors why it's got the higher cap. So it doesn't fall within the typical caps that we're leasing the market for properties. Page 7 of my brief is just the municipal assessment active information. Now, if you continue to page 8 of my brief, you'll see some photos of the subject. So at the top there, you'll see the Google map photo where it's located on Ellington Avenue, and then you'll see Arlington Street just further down. Page 8 is just a photo of the subject, a street view photo to the front of the building. You can see the different units. Page 9 of my brief, you'll just see some more photos of the subject, and then you'll see an overhead view of the overall parcel and just the different addresses for the different premises. This continues on page 10, just showing a front view and then a rear view of the subject and just its overall area. We go to page 11. Again, we'll just see another photo of the subject in the building. Continuing on page 12, just as the parcel outline and just the current assessed value of $500,000. Now if we go to page 13 of our brief, you'll see this is the income expense map that has been requested and provided. And page 15 through 17 are just some outside source information regarding cap rates and first quarter market industrial report. That is my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Hurley. Mr. Rack, any questions of the assessor's evidence?
Did you compare the rentable area from the income and expense mailers to what you're actually using for your valuation?
Yes, I am aware of there is a different discrepancy in the leasable area. Yes, that's correct. I'm not. I am aware of that. So yes.
Okay, that's my only question.
Thank you. Lynn, any questions of the assessor?
Yes, Mr. Hurling, have you inspected the property?
I have not personally. We had an assessor last cycle that did inspect it though. So it hasn't been. It's inspected fairly recently, but in the last few years. But I did not inspect it. So.
And then in the previous cycle, when it was inspected, are there any notes about the square footage?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, there is. I actually pulled up the previous brief that was to look at the evidence to kind of see what was going on. Yeah, and actually at the time, in the evidence, it was actually stated that the leasable area was 6,822 square feet. So again, there's a bit of a discrepancy there too as well. So based on the decision, that was what the leasable area that was used. And that's
what was the previous decision square footage?
6,822, or that, as a matter of fact, that's what it was in the evidence presented by the appellant. So.
Okay. Okay, thank you. I have no further questions. I'm going to
Excellent.
ask about the 6822 of Mr. Rack later.
Okay. Gisela, any questions?
No, they've been answered. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. My first question, Matthew, is your blended weight, would that be 683?
Oh, I did not say that. I apologize. Yes, 6. Yeah, 683. Correct. Yes.
Okay, thank you. And you just stated that 6,822 is possibly the correct leasable area.
As I said, like there seems to be like initially last cycle in 2020, we had it at 7,092, but then it says, you know, I'm looking at the. I apologize, I didn't supply it, but I'm just looking at right now the evidence from last cycle. And it says incorrect area of total lease area is 6,822. So that's why I'm just, I'm not sure what's. I mean, I believe I know the reason why there's a difference, but that's just what I'm going by the information I have on the previous information I'm looking at that was filed. So,
could I ask what your opinion is of that difference?
yes, actually, we can actually show. Well, I'll just. I mean, I'll state the information I have, and then Mr. Rack may be able to clear it up, I guess, or if he thinks
Okay.
differently. But if you go to page 9 of my brief, just to see some photos of the subject, at the back of the building, you see there's a garage back there. So, as far as I know, and based on the inspection that the assessor did, I believe it is attached. Mr. Rack may tell me differently. As I said, I haven't inspected it, but that's where that area was what would be the discrepancy in the area. So that's
okay.
The information I would, that's fair.
Okay, thank you. Okay, that's all my questions. Mr. Rack, I'm just gonna try.
I'm just checking out this area here.
I'm just gonna try and go to your brief here, but do you have a comment to make? Maybe now. Or
Yeah, I'm correcting this area here. Now that Matthew brought this up, I'm looking at my 2020 brief, and seeing where there's a difference here, but I don't dispute what he's stating. The other thing I can say is that the the metal shed there that you'll see is not attached to the building. There's like a lean-to that makes it look that way, but it's not. But I'm just going over this area here that Matthew's pointed out, and I want to see what the difference is here.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you have your previous evidence, but it's on page. It was on page 4. It states because we were using 7,092 last cycle as well. So
Yeah, I'm looking at my old brief from 2020.
oh, okay.
So just give me 1 sec here.
okay.
I can see where I made the area, Mr. Chairman, is basically when I calculated it in my automated spreadsheet, unit 936, if you look in the 2023 brief, is 500 square feet, the same as 2020. And then 938 is 1,500 square feet, that's the same. And then number 3, quick copy is 3,000 square feet. That's the same. And number 5 is the storage is 822. That's the same. So I made a calculation error for the 2020 appeal, where I came up with 6822. It appears.
So you agree with the 7,092? Would that be fair, or?
See, basically, when I did my automated calculation of the area in 2020, at 936, I used 1,500 square feet. Where if you look at the income and expense mailer in 2020, it's only 500 square feet. So I made an error, and basically in 2020, I never caught it.
Okay, well, maybe we'll deal with, let's go into your brief now. I think we're complete with our questioning. And let's go into your brief and look at your current evidence, okay?
Okay.
Just bear with us while we get up your brief, please. Okay. Okay, Mr. Rack, when you're ready, 942 Elgin Avenue.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, as you can see a picture of the outside of the building, a picture of the insides of the building, the metal shed at the back, and you'll see on the left of that metal shed on page 3, it looks like it's attached to the other building, the front that's on the street, but if you look on the right underneath it, that's the other side of the building, you'll see there's just a little roof there to cover some storage area. So it's actually not really attached as a part of the building. And there's no insulation or heat in that building on page 3, you'll see at the bottom. So actually the area is, as calculated, at 5,822 square feet. Again, I said I made the error by 1,000 square feet in the 2020 brief. So basically, I'm in, you can see the income and expense mailers in 2020 at 5822 square feet, 2018, 5822 square feet, 2017, 5822 square feet, go down to 2016, 5822 square feet. So that's the area. It's 5,000 square foot leasable in the flex warehouse, and storage is 822 square feet. Page 8 and 9. So the department rent is $6.83. That's pretty close. The rent actually, the actual rent is $6. Excuse me, Mr. Chairman, and 47 cents. So I've got no problem with that. So if you go down to the basically page 8, I'm going to apply the department's rent, vacancy, and shortfall, and the department's cap rate. All I'm doing is adjusting the rent as indicated by the expense mailers over a number of years to 5,822 square feet, even for the storage area. And so at $6.83 that the city is basically their model rent I'm applying, and the rest of the parameters, 8.3% cap rate, I'm getting a total value of $417,000. That's my presentation.
Okay. 417,000. Okay. Mr. Harling, any questions of the applicant?
Yeah, I'm just curious. So then that shed, so then is it being used by any of the tenants, or is it like is it just storage, or what's the space? Just kind of use as storage space, I'm assuming, or?
Yeah, it's just basic storage space. The tenant is, yeah, it's unheated storage space. If you look at the income expense mailers, that's basically what it is.
Okay.
I didn't really adjust the rent. I was okay with the overall rent that you're applying.
That's that's all the questions I have. Then thank you.
Thank you. Lynn, any questions?
No questions, thank you.
Gisela?
No questions, thank you.
My question is, Mr. Rack. So we've determined that is storage space that let's call it a little lean-to between the two buildings, the main building. What is that? What is that big? Is that a garage or something at the back of the property that lean-to attach, or let's call it attaches to the main building?
Yeah, the lean-to is just a little roof so that they can store some stuff from the body shop that's next door, but it's just a metal storage building, as you can see on page 3. That's the basic storage building.
Yeah, okay, so we're not page 3, okay. So we're not assigning any leasable area to that at all?
Yes, oh, of course it is. That's 822 square feet.
Okay, so that is accounted for.
Yes, it's on the income and expense mailers. If you look on page 4,
Okay,
in number 2 there, it says back of 822 square feet. It's getting 900 gross for it.
and it's leased to a tax company, is that right?
That's correct.
So it's used for
Just storing documents, I imagine.
storing, so it is heated and everything, do you think?
No, there's pictures. I mean, it even says here.
It says no insulation or heat.
So that page 3 is the picture of that. We'll call it a storage shed. Yeah.
That's correct. If you go to page 5, 2018, he kind of made a note: no arm's length, unheated. Yeah, it's just storage.
Okay.
Got a couple
Okay.
light bulbs in it.
Okay. So that's accounted for. Is that included in the square footage or no? Sorry,
Yes, it is. That's the 822 square feet.
okay, perfect.
So,
All right.
yeah.
Okay, perfect. Okay. That's my only question. Mr. Harling, any requirement for summary?
No, that's, I'm good, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Rack?
No, thank you.
Thank you. That concludes 942 Elgin Avenue. Next property on the docket is item number 980 Elgin Avenue. File number 223753, and we're dealing with a 2023 realty appeal. Matthew, bear with us while we get that brief up, please. Okay. 124. Okay, there
I also have a rebuttal brief for that, which is just pictures of the assessor's comparables.
we are. Okay. Let me get this open here. So we're dealing with 980 Elgin Avenue. Okay. Mr. Harling, when you're ready, and then we'll deal with Mr. Rack's rebuttal after you present, please.
Mr. Chairman. The file number is 22-3753. The roll number is 130705445500. The address is 90 Elgin Avenue, and the owner is 60737 Manitoba Limited. 2023 assessed value based on a reference date of April 1st, 2021 is $602,000. There are 5 premises on the property. It's a 1-story building. The effective and actual built are 1968. The wall heights are 13 feet. The land area is 25,620 square feet, with a leasable area of 9,374 square feet and a land plan area of 2.68. Go to page 2, my brief. You'll see request for income information has been received. There are no recent sales, and there are no subject leases. Page 3, my brief. You'll see my rent comparables. Now, so my rent comparables range in age or lease term, I apologize, from 2016 to 2019. Lease terms range in 4 to 6 years. The leasable areas range from 1,375 square feet to 10,000 square feet. Wall heights range from 13 feet to 14 feet. The effective year builds range from 1956 to 1973. And the overall net rents range from $6.27 a square foot to $7. Now if we go to page 4 of my brief, you'll see the breakdown of all the premises on the roll of property and the total leasable area. It's at 9374. We're applying an overall blended model rent of $5.76 a square foot, which gives us the $54,004 for the potential rent. We're allowing for 6.5% for vacancy, 3% for non-public expenses, and $3.85 square foot for shortfall, which gives us a net operating income of $46,633. And we're applying a cap rate of 7.75%, which gives us the estimated market value of $602,000. If we go to page 5 of my brief, just see another breakdown of the valuation summary. Page 6 of my brief, again, just more cap rate evidence. The 7.7, I believe, is more than fair for the property, and it falls within the range, as well as within our 28th percentile property. So I think the cap rate is good. Supported. Page 7 of my brief, you're just submitting some assessment active information. Continue to page 8 of my brief, you'll just see a photo of the subject property. It's actually very close to the previous property. So you can kind of just see at the bottom of the page in 8, you'll see the photo of the overall property in the front. Going to page 9, you'll just see another photo, another different angle, and then this is on the opposite side of the building at the bottom of page 9. If we go to page 10, you'll just see the overall area of the subject. And you'll see the units and then the area in the back of the building. And then page 10, you'll just see another photo of the overhead view of the subject. This continued on page 11, just different angles of the subject, just to show the rear and the side of the building. And then on page 12, you'll just see the parcel outline of the current assessed value of $602,000. If we continue to page 13 and 14, this is the income expense matter that was provided from the property. And lastly, page 15 through 17, again, it's just some outside source information for cap rates and quarter one industrial market report. That's my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Matthew. Mr. Rack, any questions of the assessor's evidence?
Just one question, page 14. You would
Yes.
agree that the rents are semi-gross?
Here it's one. Hold on, let me take a look here again. Semi-gross. Yeah, I guess that. Yeah, I think that would be correct. Yes.
Okay, that's my only question.
Thank you, Mr. Rack. Lynn, any questions?
No, Mr. Chairman, no questions.
Thank you. Gisela, any questions?
No, I have no questions. Thank you.
And I have no questions either. And Mr. Rack, you have rebuttal for the assessor's comparables, I believe. So if we could just find that, do we have that available, Mr. Kumar?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Okay, where are we?
Great. Yeah.
It's number 3 under 9A Elgin Avenue on my agenda.
About an hour ago, is that the one?
Yeah,
That's the one.
Okay. Mr. Harling, any objection to Mr.
No,
Rack?
that's okay. You can. That's fine.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Rack, when you're ready, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So comparable one is on McPhillips at 681 a square foot. So that's a better location, higher visibility. So that would demand a higher rent. Comparable number 2, this is a flex warehouse. So there's got to be a portion that's like office space. So this appears to be just in a garage of some sort. The next one, number 3, is definitely a garage. I mean, you got 6 garage doors, so that's not a flex warehouse. And the next one underneath there is on Sanford, which is better. It's got on-site parking. It's close to Polo Park. It's similar. You can see that it has parking out front. probably demand a higher rent since it's closer to Polo Park in that area. You'll see Richard is a superior building with better location on on-site parking. Definitely a superior building, and the parking out front for lots of cars at 675. And then the last one on Elgin, 942 Elgin at 780, is you can see that's a superior building, definitely. It's a true flex warehouse where it has higher ceilings in it. You can stack pallets, and that's a superior building with higher visibility. And that's my rebuttal, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Mr. Harling, any comments?
No, I'm just gonna leave it at that. No, it's fine now.
Thank you. Lynn?
No comment, no questions. Thank you.
Gisela?
No questions, thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Rack, or maybe both parties, is Richard Avenue in the West End?
No, it's Richard would be close to pretty sure it's close to Aaron Street. Let me just pull it up here.
Between Aaron and Wall somewhere? Like, is
Yeah,
that?
That's
Yeah,
correct. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah.
but up towards Notre Dame, am I?
Yeah, it would be closer to Notre Dame. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, so yeah.
Okay, thank you. That's my only question. Okay, thanks, Mr. Rack. Now we'll get back to Mr. Rack's brief. If bear with a second, Lyle, if you don't mind here. Went the wrong way. Let's see. That's Mr. Harling. Mr. Rack 980. I gotta blow this up. I can't see. 980 Elgin. Mr. Rack, when you're ready, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So page 1, you can see a picture of the building, and at the bottom of there, the total leasable for this building is actually 9,500 square feet, not 9,374 square feet that the department has. So it's a little bit bigger. Page 2 is evaluation, which the assessor's gone over. Page 3 shows its semi-gross rents and the tenants and the expenses, which there's not very many expenses, basically just the property tax, snow removal, property administration, and insurance, although there's not total recoverables for all of that, so it's a semi-gross. The expenses are actually pretty low on this building. So on page 4, you will see the actual semi-gross rents per year for units 1 through 4 and 5. Those are actual rents. You'll see the recoveries, 4936. So you get a total gross rent of 63,616. The expenses are 24,525. So the NOI is 39,091. That's $4.11 per square foot. Excuse me, Mr. Chairman. So we've got some comparisons from 2020 to 2021. These are asking rents, and these would be from Johnson Report. So they're coming down to $3.93. For 2023 appeals from a different assessor's briefs, we're getting Adelaide, 2 on Aaron and 1 on Wall, for basically $4.81. So basically, I believe that the actual at 411. Oh, sorry, I'm using actually, I've adjusted the actual rent for the property is actually $4.11. Looking at the comparables, I brought it up to $4.75 using the department's vacancy, shortfall, and expenses. So at $4.75, we're getting potential income of $45,125. Going through the vacancy and the shortfall, 7.75% cap. Net operating income is $38,549. So I corrected the area, and I raised the rent from $411 to $475, and I'm getting value of $497,000. That's my presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Rack. Matthew, any questions of the appellant?
Yeah, there's just one question I do have actually. I was looking on the brief on page 3, the mailer you're using. Now the mailer, I'm just curious because I know you come up with 411 for the initial, and I know you're higher than that, but That's you're using, that's the 2019 mailer though that you're using, and in my brief, I'm using the 2020 mailer. So I'm just wondering why aren't you using the more up-to-date mailer, for example, to come up with just the actual, out of curiosity.
Oh,
Because unfortunately when they filled it out, they said 12/31/2020, but this is the 2019 mailer. So 2020 mailer is the one I put in my brief. So I just noticed it's slightly higher than 20.
yeah, you're right, Matthew. I guess I looked at the 2020 and missed to the right that it was due on June 2020. So that would be a 2019 mailer. You are correct. Sorry about that. Let me just look at yours.
Sure, yeah, it's on page 13. So.
Okay, so yeah, because for 2020 the net operating income was 47,551, and I'm using 45,125. So you know what? I'll do a correction to that. Which wouldn't really make that much of a difference, but I will still do that correction. Give me a second. I got to punch it into my automated brief here. So that would correct my evaluation to be $526,000. Thank you, Matthew.
No problem. That's I just wanted to, yeah. So thank you.
Just to clarify, Lyle, so what would your adjusted revised NOI be now?
The revised NOI would be 40,749.
Okay. And you brought up your rental rate, is that right?
Well, the rate that I brought it up to, I think, is indicative of I brought the rental rate up. Actually, it would probably appear to be higher than 475 with the new NOI. Give me one sec here. I'll tell you in a minute. It'd basically be $5 even.
Okay. So I'm just going to confirm for everybody, you're using 9,500 square feet at $5 a square foot and using the assessor's parameters of vacancy, 3%, expenses, cap rate of 7.75, and your revised NOI was 40749.
Correct.
And your new opinion of value is 526,000 even.
That's rounded up from 525,794. Correct. 526.
Okay. Thank you. Excuse me. So Matthew, you already asked your questions, right?
Yes, yeah. I'm good. Thank you.
Any questions?
No, no questions.
Lynn, how about you?
I have no questions. Thank you.
Okay. And I have no questions either. Any requirement for summary?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you. Lyle? Okay, thank you. So the last property in the docket is item number 10, file number 22-3725 44 Princess Street, and we're dealing with a 2023 realty assessment. Mr. Matthew, bear with us one second here. Pull up your brief. Okay, when you're ready, please. 44 Princess Street.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The file number is 22-3725. The roll number is 13060044500. The address is 44 Princess Street, and the owner is Leon E. Brown Limited. The 2023 assessed value, based on a reference date, is $1,598,000. There are two actually income streams in this property. There's an apartment income stream and an industrial income stream. So that's why there's two income streams there. So I'll go into that in my brief when I go through it. But the overall estimated value is $1,598,000. The property description information, it's a 1 to 7 story building. There are 17 total premises. The actual year built is 1906 with an effective year built of, I apologize, I didn't write the actual effective year built. Just give me 2 seconds. I just want to get the correct one we have here. Just give me 2 seconds. So I want to just make sure I have it. We're using effective year built of 1939. So, okay. The land area is 4,541 square feet, with a leasable area of 32,200 square feet and a land to plan area of 0.91. If you go to page 2 of my brief, you'll just see the request for income information that had been supplied. There are no recent sales on the subject, and there are no leases in place. Page 3 of my brief, you'll see some rent comparables. Now this would be for the income portion, or the loft warehouse portion. So I'll go through these comparables first. Lease start dates range from 2015 to 2019. There's a 3-year lease that range from 3 years to 10 years. Leasable areas range from 517 square feet to 16,676 square feet. The wall heights range from 11 feet to 12 feet. The effective year builds range from 1905 to 1911. And the net rents range from $8 square foot to $11.42 square foot. Now, page 4 of these, as I said, there's one apartment building in here. So these are just some of the rent comparables I use for the one apartment space. So we're using a month rent of $1,179. And there's comparables 1, 2, 3, and 4. Just so you can see the average monthly rent. So kind of falling within line with that. Now, page 5 of my brief, this is the apartment income stream, or the multifamily portion. So you just kind of see the potential gross income. The one suite, roughly $14,000 in for income. We're planning 42.12% for expenses, which gives us an overall net operating income of $7,808, and we're applying a cap rate of 4.65%, which gives us an estimated value of $184,000. That's the multifamily portion. Now, if we go to page 6 of my brief, this is the loft warehouse, or the industrial portion. So you'll see there's several premises on here. I believe 17 in total, for a total leasable area of 32,200. And we're applying a model blended rent of $5.37 a square foot. This gives us a potential rent of $173,214. We're applying 12.5% for vacancy, 3% for non-recoverable expenses, and $3.85 for shortfall. This gives us a net operating income of $131,519, and we're applying an overall cap rate of 9.3%, which gives us the estimated market value for the loft warehouse portion of $1,414,000. On page 7 of my brief, you'll just see the income value in the two income streams, and then again the overall value of the two income streams. Page 8 of my brief, just some cap rate information. This being an older property right downtown, a loft warehouse, older building, older wall heights and such, we would apply a higher cap rate for that reason. Henceforth, I have the higher cap rate of 9%. So, and then just page 9, this would be some cap rates in the market for multifamily portion to support the 4.6 cap rate. So it's just a sample of some cap rates in the market. So, and you can just see the cap rates in the corner very far back. So you range from 4.79 to 5.02%. Page 10 of my brief is just some municipal assessment active reserve information. Now page 11 of my brief just shows the subject property map where the property is located on Princess Street, and you can see the just surrounding buildings and Adelaide behind it. Now page 12 of my brief, this is the building. So the top there on page 12, you can see the building itself, and at the bottom you'll see the front entrance of the building on page 12. Page 13 gives you just more an overview of the actual size of the building and where it's located and situated. And page 14 of my brief just shows some more photos of the subject property just from different angles to show the overall size of the building. And then page 15 of my brief will just see the parcel boundary and current assessed value. And then page 15 through 17 is the income expense mirror that was provided by the property owner. I believe these would be also considered gross rents. And page 18 through 20 again is just some outside source information supporting cap rate evidence as well as the first quarter industrial market report. That's my presentation. Thank you.
Thank you, Matthew. Just taking notes here. Okay, Lyle, any questions of the assessor's evidence?
No.
Thank you. Lynn, any questions?
I have no questions. Thank you.
Thank you. Gisela?
I have no questions. Thank you.
My only question is page 7, Matthew, below the capitalization rate for the residential portion of the apartment, there's an adjustment of $16,000. Can I ask what that's for?
Oh, yes. Yeah, you know what? I was actually playing it. I've taken it actually out of the system. It's some additional land area, which I was trying to figure out why it was there. I can't figure out why we'd be assessing any additional land because there shouldn't be. So I apologize. You know what? So I guess I'll remove that $16,000 square feet or $16,000, which would adjust that value to 168, which would adjust the overall value from 1582. So I guess that would be my revised value then.
Okay, so to confirm on the apartment class code 10, you're revising it to 168,000, which revises the total estimated mark value to, I'm sorry, what was it going to be?
1,582,000.
1,582,000. Okay.
Yeah, I apologize. I actually highlighted that. I just passed over it. So.
Okay. Thank you. That's my only question. Mr. Rack, bear with us 1 second here and we'll find your brief. Okay, Mr. Rack, when you're ready, please.
I do have a rebuttal for this one too, Mr. Chairman.
Pardon me?
I do have a rebuttal for this one too.
Oh, okay. Do we have that available?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Okay, I didn't see it there. The rebuttal. Right, okay. Okay, does everybody have it?
Yes, thank you.
Okay,
Mr. Rack, when you're ready.
Okay, page 1, you can see a front facade of the building. It's quite an old building and basically original shape. As you can see the old style windows. There's no real air conditioning in that property. That's why the windows open. So if you go down to the next page, you'll see it's right on Ellis there. Notre Dame, sorry, beside the cinema. You'll see there's no windows on either sides of the building. And then if you keep scrolling down, you'll see the rear facade of it. And those are the original style windows on it. So it's quite old. And if you keep going down, you'll see that the assessor's only supplied basically 2 comparables. He's got 5 comparables ranging from $8.75 to $11.42, and they're all at 250 McDermott. And this building right here, the left door is 250, the right door is 258. So basically, they're all in that one building. And you can see the building is in nicer condition with the windows. If you keep scrolling down, you'll see on the side street, it's all full of windows. The back is full of windows. It's in a better location than subject property. More like in the heart of the old Market Square area. So it would get a higher rents. You'll see there's a jewelry retailer on the main floor, Hillary Drucksmann. Keep scrolling down, you'll see the front two doors. Like I said, one's 250, one's 258. And then the last comparable is at Red River College, and the 2389 square feet has been used before in other properties, and I believe that's the art space gallery on the main floor. So basically the assessor's just using two comparables, and 5 are in the same building that's superior than subject. And that's my presentation.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Matthew, any comments?
No, I'm gonna have no comments now.
Okay, thank you. Lynn, any questions, pardon me?
No, thank you.
Thank you. Gisela?
I'm fine, thank you.
And I am good, thank you too. Okay, so let's, Mr. Rack, we're gonna go back and find your brief for 44 Princess. When you're ready, Mr. Brack.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, you'll see first the picture that you've seen before. This building was built in 1909. It's a Class B building. The comparable I showed you there, I would believe that would be a Class C building. So you can see the income and expense mailers. And if you keep going down, there's an error in the actually adding up the areas. So if you go to page 5, I've gone through 2018, 2019, and 2020, the areas of the building. For those 3 years, the income and expense mailers, they all add up to 30,930 square feet. And this is the last, just below that, where there's the gross rent is 281,964. Those are the areas, and those are the tenants. I've done adjustments to the vacant space using the last tenant in the space. You're getting a gross rent of 281,964. You go down to page 6. You'll see the expenses, and these old buildings are quite high. So from 2016, and that covers all the utilities, etc. So for 2016 to 2020, you can see all the expenses, and the average is 160,000. So what I did is I threw out, I applied the second lowest expense all those years. So basically the second lowest expense was 132,860. And so the potential income is now 149,104. And so basically I'm going to apply the department's vacancy shortfall and for non-recoverable expenses, and I adjusted the rent. So I'm getting a rent of $4.82 a square foot. And using the parameters and the cap rate, I'm getting a value of 1,200,525. I'm maintaining the apartment value, although the assessor did bring it down to 168. I didn't notice that 16,000. So basically, I'm looking for 168,000 recommendation from the assessor. Is good. I accept it. Thank you, Matthew. And then I'm looking for the building to be reduced to 1,201,000. That's it, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Thank you. Matthew, any questions?
No, I have no questions. Thank you.
Lynn, any questions?
Yeah, I have a question. Mr. Rack, can you just take me through again, and I'm sorry, maybe my brain is just tired, how you arrived at that $4.82 a square foot model rent?
Yes, if you take,
What page?
we're on the page 6.
Okay.
So, please give me 1 sec. if you take the, where it says potential income, so for the expenses, I use the second lowest expense, 132,860. So if you're looking at the potential income, the gross income of 281,964, subtract the expenses of 132,860, you get 149,140.
Okay, so
divide
that's how
that-
you did it.
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, and then I just divide that by the area.
okay. Okay, thank you. My brain just couldn't follow fast enough to go through your numbers. But you kept all the other parameters the same as the city?
That's correct. Sorry for going so fast. I'm trying to get you guys to go home.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, yeah. Okay, so you haven't changed anything else except the rent, essentially, correct?
The rent, and I adjusted the area because the area.
And you adjusted the area based on what's reported in the INE?
Yes, on page 5 for 2018, 19, and 20. I went back farther, and they're basically the same.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much.
Thanks, Lynn. Gisela, any questions?
No questions, thank you.
I'm just going to ask you to confirm, Lyle, the value. So we're putting class code 10 at 168,000. You're accepting the assessor's revised value. And for class code 60, you're looking at 1 million. No, sorry. Where am I? What is your revised, or sorry, not your, what is your request for the class code 60, the commercial portion?
1,201,000.
Okay, so on page 6, right? Yeah. Okay, I just want to get the numbers straight here. $1,201,000. Okay. And that's based on revised rent and revised square footage. Otherwise, you accept the assessor's parameters. Okay. Any requirement for summary? Matthew?
No, I'll just let the board make the decision on the evidence. That's all. So,
Okay, thank you. Lyle?
No, I've supplied all the information there on the areas map for you. Yeah, I'm good.
Okay,
Thanks for staying so long to hear our arguments.
thanks, Lyle, for appearing, and Matthew. And that, I believe that, sorry, I have that concludes item number 10. And we have heard all the items scheduled on this hearing, and we are now adjourned. Thank you both for appearing.
very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Matthew.
Take care, everyone.